adults. Parental discretion is advised.
News headlines brought to you by...
With as little as $20,000, you can start investing in real estate. JMMB Optimum Capital Real Estate Unit Trust Fund is an ideal mix of real estate stocks.
In primetime news this evening, teachers get fresh offer from the government.
Leadership face-off. JLP leader and PNP president meet in third and final debate night.
And stakeholders worried about domestic disputes increasingly turning deadly. Good evening and welcome to Primetime News. A very special welcome to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com. I'm Anthony Lug.
And I am Andrea Chisholm. Coming up, we have the business news.
But Jermaine Brown is here to give us a preview of what's to come in sports.
Thank you, Anthony. Well, there was at least one Jamaican victory at the on the second and final day of the Zurich Diamond League Finals in Switzerland. We'll tell you who a bit later on.
And we also have, the weather report and forecast. And Romaine Robinson is here with a preview.
Thanks, Andrea. Now, over the next few days, we are expecting slightly drier conditions, that especially as we move into tomorrow. There is the likelihood of an increase in showers and a few thunderstorms across sections of the west on Saturday when another tropical wave is in the area.
Looking forward to that. It's been extremely hot these last few days. There's also sports commentary and E-Prime in this newscast. But before the break, the feedback question.
This evening we're asking, which issue are you most interested in hearing about during tonight's leadership debate?
Share comments online at facebook.com/Television Jamaica and post on X at TVJ News Center.
And that's our feedback question on the screen. So stay with us. Primetime News returns right after this break.
News headlines brought to you by...
With as little as $20,000, you can start investing in real estate. JMMB Optimum Capital Real Estate Unit Trust Fund is an ideal mix of real estate stocks and more.
We are bucket together when everybody out. Fried chicken we are pre-bucket for the crew. Share a bucket together, everybody go live. Spicy original when we online. Bucket together to the new dance craze. Taste explosion bursting with flame. When we are bucket together, it put you in a good mood. Every moment to share is finger licking good. Bucket together, bucket together, bucket together, bucket together.
The following is paid for by the People's National Party.
Keisha,
What?
why am I never saying at the exam?
I never have enough money to pay the school fees, so I just couldn't do the exam.
Hold on, Keisha, hold on.
What?
Say I hear about the PNP First in the Family program.
No? Why not?
It's a program where if you're the first in your family, if you attend college or university, you get a scholarship for funding.
But me already there college, that not have nothing to do with me.
Keisha, calm down.
Yes.
Hold on. It no matter if you're already in college or if you just got start, you can still get it.
So does that mean that my little brother get to say that I made it?
Definitely. You're going to be the first, but you definitely won't be the last.
That sounds fun.
Sounds good. Keisha, that sounds great. What you say, man?
It sounds like time come for sure.
Education is the bridge between struggle and opportunity. It is how we lift families and grow a modern economy.
Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic. Well then, let's propel we nation moving forward in a new direction. True independence, that's the projection. No more dependency, it's the best plan. Yes, we know what's best for us, cause we want the country prosperous. So make we just pull together as the general public while on the road to republic. Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic.
A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
We on the road to republic. Get school supplies sorted and make back to school easy with Quartz Ready Cash. Grab what you need and get ready to learn. It's quick, easy, and hassle-free. No collaterals, no guarantors. Visit any of our stores island-wide or quartzreadycash.com and apply today and get everything you need to get them ready for the new term. Quartz Ready Cash, ready when you are. Promotion ends September 30. Conditions apply.
The following is a paid announcement by G2K.
This is how PNP President Mark Golding conducts himself.
Make sure, say, every comrade, if they're still alive, and even some who not alive, you know, if them can deal with it, no problem.
Yo. Lord.
That's a damn fool.
She has no class.
With Mark Jefferson Gordon as the Prime Minister, and a top honorary set of people around me to run the country.
No, sir, him not look Prime Minister material at all. We can't trust him to run Jamaica.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by G2K.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
It is going to take divine intervention.
Faith without works is dead. Divine intervention without action won't make me feel safer. Being tough on crime will. This year, murders are down another 43%. That's over 300 fewer lives lost than this time last year. That wasn't an accident, it was action. I need warriors against crime, not guardians of it. Ending gun violence, illegal guns off the street, more judges and a paperless court system, and long-term systematic change, that's real justice. That's the safer Jamaica I want to live in. I don't want to turn back now.
Choose results you can count on. Put your X beside the bell.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
As Jamaica's first registered company, J. Nephew Limited proudly celebrates 200 years of championing the spirit of Jamaicans. Thank you, Jamaica, for creating this long-lasting legacy. From our historic beginnings at a bar on King Street, downtown Kingston, to today's traditions, you've always found a way to make us the must-have ingredient in your lives. Because you know you can rely on our brands to bring people together and celebrate the special moments. From one generation to the next, we keep the good times flowing and the country growing through our contributions to sports, education, nation building, and cultural expression. We've been and always will be here with you. So thank you all. Let's continue our journey together. Cheers to 200 years of J. Ray and Nephew Limited. Cheers to more. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
The Jamaica Labour Party is doing more for your safety. Over the past 9 years, we've delivered the lowest murder rate in 30 years. We've strengthened our police force, and we've delivered landmark programs like the first government-run domestic violence shelters. The JLP is doing more for you, and we're not done yet. Proven results means peace of mind. Choose a safer Jamaica. Put your X beside the bell.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour.
Welcome back to Primetime News.
And a special welcome to our viewers on OneSportMedia.com as well as TVJ International in the Cayman Islands.
We begin this evening with the latest from the wage negotiations between the government and the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA.
TVJ News understands that the government has revised its wage offer to the teachers. This follows a meeting today with officials from the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, and the Finance Ministry. Sources told TVJ News that the 0% wage offer has been removed and the government, with the government now offering 2% in year one. The Action Committee of the JTA is also scheduled to meet tomorrow. Days before the official start of the new school year, teachers have been frustrated over the delay in getting an improved wage offer from government. The JTA indicated that normalcy could not be guaranteed and gave the Finance Ministry until Friday to present a better wage offer. The government has previously offered 0% in year 1 and 2.5% over the next 3 years.
2 men, 1 stage, and a fight for Jamaica's future. At 9 o'clock tonight, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and Opposition Leader Mark Golding will square off in the highly anticipated leadership debate. But, as Sandy Williams reports, there are some lingering concerns.
It will be the first time outside of Parliament that Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and Opposition Leader Mark Golding will come face-to-face to debate national issues. In recent weeks, they've been using the political platform, taking jabs at each other. The tension between the two very apparent at the recent Grand Gala celebrations. After an awkward handshake, their body language spoke volumes. The 90-minute showdown inside the CPTC studio will be the climax of the 3-part election debate series broadcast live on TVJ, Radio Jamaica, social media platforms, and YouTube. Both party leaders will make a final pitch to Jamaicans before they head to the polls next week. They are expected to be pressed on issues Jamaicans live and breathe every day: cost of living, crime and violence, jobs, healthcare, education, and the economy. The questions will come from veteran journalists Dion Jackson Miller of RGR Gleaner Communications Group and Giovanni Dennis of CVM TV, as well as the public via social media by Amoy Harriet of CVM TV. Archibald Gordon will moderate the event. But while the JDC insists it's ready, there's turbulence off stage. Some sign language service providers are raising alarm, accusing the JDC of selecting interpreters without verifying their skills. In a strong worded release following Tuesday's debate, the group Ready to Sign noted that, quote, "It's unacceptable to choose individuals solely because they can sign without considering their interpreting skills. JDC's refusal to listen to us has led to this situation," end quote. The group warns that using unqualified interpreters at such a high-stake debate could misinform the deaf community and tarnish the credibility of the service. The JDC has since pushed back, saying it has confirmed 2 interpreters from the deaf community for the final debate and thanked veteran interpreter Jane Litchmore Grant for stepping in at the last minute during Tuesday's economic debate. Since 2002, the JDC has staged these debates, but never before has there been such a pointed clash over inclusion. All eyes and ears will be on tonight's exchange as undecided voters and the deaf community await answers on critical issues. Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
There have been calls for the Independent Fiscal Commission to weigh in on the feasibility of the economic proposals of both the PNP and the JLP. However, Fiscal Commissioner has sought to clarify that it must exclusively focus on policies implemented or proposed by the government. The clarification comes as the JLP is promising to gradually cut the income tax rate to 15%, while the PNP wants to increase the income tax threshold to $3.5 million. In a release on Thursday, Fiscal Commissioner Courtney Williams said the IFC was established to promote sound fiscal policy and fiscal management by improving the public with an informed and independent opinion on the soundness and sustainability of the country's fiscal position and policy within the boundaries of the law. The Fiscal Commissioner said, as mandated by law, it will submit its latest statement on fiscal performance to the government, to the Houses of Parliament rather, in September. And still to come this evening, roads take center stage on the campaign trail. And in business news, we'll tell you about the commerce around elections. We'll be right back.
a bucket together when everybody out. Fried chicken with a pre-bucket for the crew. Share a bucket together, everybody go live. Spicy original when we online. Bucket together to the new dance craze. Taste explosion bursting with flavor. When we a bucket together, it put you in a good mood. Every moment to share is finger licking good. Bucket together, come make we bucket together. Bucket together, bucket together.
Be crowned the back-to-school champion parent with a Sagicor Bank unsecured loan.
The time by Sagicor Bank is
7:15.
Every generation brings new hopes and ambitions. For 55 years, Sagicor has been helping Jamaicans to realize their dreams. As we celebrate our past, we look forward to continuing that legacy of trust, providing support and financial solutions for the next generation to succeed. Sagicor, building trust, one generation at a time.
Get big rewards when you catch a floor rhythm. Switch to floor or activator. 2-day higher data. Talk and text prepaid plan. Get instant prizes and loyalty points every time. The more points earned, the bigger the reward. Plus, 10 lucky winners will share the cash prize over $1.5 million. Get big rewards with Flo's Cash to Redeem promotion. Switch or activate before it's too late. Check your text messages for winning links. Feel the rhythm of summer with Flo.
Attention motorists, it's time to switch to the T-Tag on Trans-Jam highways. Vehicles using the automated T-Tag lane are processed in seconds, so you can pass through the toll plazas far quicker. The T-Tag makes it quicker, more cost-efficient, and safer for our customers. So switch to the T-Tag today and experience the convenience. T-Tag packages are discounted by 50% down to $1,250, including a $500 toll credit from now on till September 5th.
The following is paid for by the People's National Party.
Judith, you know, say me like the plans of the PMP after this election, girl. What you think? Girl, Dave, my friend, me say me see it, I mean, I like it. When me tell you what me like, you see like how me do whole heap of overtime at work, the PMP said no tax. And that me want hear. Girl, more money in your pocket. That's all that time come. Long time, and I know 1 p.m. I go my love. Past him lunchtime.
Hear me saying it again. Time come. Be a better Jamaica. Time come. Secure your future.
The proceeding was paid for by the People's National Party.
An essential tip for proper meat storage. Brought to you by
top quality meat, frozen veg, seafood and processed meats at affordable prices.
Nation's Choice, always your best value. Keep it cold. Store raw meat at 32 degrees Fahrenheit to 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius in the coldest part of your refrigerator. That was an essential tip for proper meat storage. Brought to you by
top quality meat, frozen veg, seafood and processed meats at affordable prices.
Nation's Choice, always your best value.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
We're gonna choke them with the first in family scholarship.
But what if you're not the first? Time come for a better life for some. It's time for the best life for every Jamaican. The JLP is also tackling generational poverty with the Hope for Children Trust Fund. This trust fund will give children from past households a financial foundation for life. The government will put money aside for each child for education, property, or a business available once they turn 18. The JLP is doing more for me.
Choose results you can count on. Put your X beside the bell.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Welcome back. We're continuing the news. And we're still on the political scene where roads are again at the center of the election campaign. The two political parties are promising to invest heavily in roads should they form the next government. Now, the JLP says it will be taking a more data-driven approach to the situation. Dwayne Anderson tells us more.
National issues such as taxes and public sector wage and effect in the next term.
Because we will have our new One Road Authority, which is going to change how we manage and maintain. In the last, or previous administration, or current administration rather, we finally mapped all of the roads in Jamaica, and we now have a database, 27,000 roads in kilometers of road in Jamaica. Knowing that means that we are able to move out of the orphan road situation.
At present, the National Works Agency, NAA, the municipal corporations, and the Agriculture Ministry share the maintenance job on respective roads. As a result, it is usually a guessing game to figure out who is responsible for repairing what.
That's why road infrastructure has fallen into such disrepair. Apart from the disinvestment and underinvestment under the PNP, it is a sheer lack of management of the information and the resources. We have done the work to put that in place, and we're now able to not only proceed with Spark and Reach and Spark 2, but we will have an authority that changes the responsibility of how that's done and makes it more progressive.
As part of the fresh focus on roads, pedestrians would also get priority, in particular those with disabilities. Over the past few days, the disabled community has been vocal about being left out of a national discourse. The JLP says its plan is developed to be inclusive.
And we also have the National Sidewalk and Road Crossing, Pedestrian Crossing Program. And that's intended to ensure that our pedestrian crossings and our sidewalks are safe for persons with disabilities and that they're safe for our elderly and our children. So the appropriate guardrails, appropriate change in texture, that helps you know when you're changing location, the appropriate audio elements on crossings so that persons who are visually impaired will know how and when and where to cross.
Kamina Johnson-Smith was speaking at the JLP press brief on Wednesday, where she also dissected the PNP's land reform proposals. A proposal she says is flawed and will harm the environment in some instances.
The PNP has gotten it wrong on land. They're speaking about Crown land and making changes to legislation, but Crown land, which is not the majority of unoccupied lands or occupied lands in Jamaica, it is in fact probably the smallest grouping. Is maybe around 5,000 parcels, while the government-owned land that we're looking at is more 500,000 parcels of land. Crown land is in more cases than not, either ecologically sensitive, environmentally sensitive, or strategically sensitive for national development purposes. So it's the exact opposite of the land you would want to encourage for development, especially in the circumstances that they're proposing.
Dwayne Anderson, TVJ News.
In the meantime, the PNP is accusing the JLP of not prioritizing education. The PNP says the sector has deteriorated under this administration and promises that should the party be elected to government, it would improve. Details in this report.
Seats with a history of small winning margins continue to get the most attention from the two major parties. The PNP has its eyes set on the East Rural Senanjo, currently held by the JLP's Juliet Holness. She's facing Patrick Peter King of the PNP. PNP President Mark Golding knows the party's momentum from the local government election could be key.
Bedward Gardens, you did a great work for us. February 2024, when you helped, you were critical in enabling Councillor Vivian Brown-Bond to become elected to the KSAMC Council. I want to thank you again for having done that. And having thanked you, I have to ask you again to do it in even greater numbers, because we need this community to come out hard so we can balance and overturn some of the other communities where we're not as strong.
Turning to the national issues, school reopening in just a few weeks, and the PNP president says parents would have it easier under the PNP should they take power.
We'll be spending additional $9 billion a year to ensure that every needy child gets a hot, nutritious meal at school every day, whether primary or secondary school. Very important, because we don't want any parent saying...
Speaking about schools, a dig at the JLP's stewardship of the education sector.
We have a government here that is coming up to 10 years. They have not built one school in Jamaica in 10 years. And when you check all the metrics, performance coming out of school of the children is lower now than it was when they came to office.
Just a week before the general election, and Mark Golden reasons the stakes have never been higher. It's why he wants voters to participate in the process.
I'm asking you, all of you, to please take this election very seriously and to think about what the People's National Party has done for Jamaica over the years. Free education, the housing that has been done, the land reform that has been done, all the institutions that have been built, the housing trust.
Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
In our constituency profile this evening, we feature two seats that have a history of changing hands, Southwestern and Southeastern St. Elizabeth. Our reporter Dwayne Anderson visited the constituencies and filed this report.
Southwestern and Southeastern St. Elizabeth, two peas in a pod. But that's not just because of the legumes these farming belts produce. As far as trends go in politics, the two constituencies go together. For context, there have been 5 elections since the turn of the century. JLP won 3 and the PNP won 2. Each time the parties won Southeastern and Southwestern St. Elizabeth, they won the general election. Voters here, they know the trend and expect the same again. Only question is, which side are they lining up on?
Labor right now, we know, brother, I won't go kill we. We can't buy a pound of flour. Nothing no lie. Because I want flour raise up, we don't have the money. But what? When the PNP party them not power, we can buy more than a pound of flour.
I think about put on my ex-leadership here.
To the Labour Party?
Yeah.
Cattle graze on the pasture lands that punctuate parts of Southwestern St. Elizabeth. But down here, a real 2-horse race is in full flow. Floyd Green, the incumbent, a St. Elizabeth son with a national profile as Agriculture Minister, retains a lot of confidence and support among some voters.
Because he's the best MP I see around town right now. Yeah, there's none like him.
What are some of the things you see in the way you say, yeah man, that man really work?
Road. You're sick and talk to him, you're good. You have a little problem, you talk to him and him that.
But like many representatives before him, he has promised a long-term fix to their water woes. That has not come yet.
Water for wash, water for farm, water. Yeah, man.
And Floyd hasn't done that?
I don't see it yet. I don't see it yet. The other day, they cut ribbon down the bottom there. But 3 years from now, don't make no sense. You can't cut ribbon from now for 3 years down the line.
His rival, Miranda Wellington, an educator, is also born and raised in St. Elizabeth. She is generating momentum. The engine of her support, Flagaman District, the place she grew up. Growing up, many of these voters were her neighbors, but in this case, they are not voting for Labour.
If me see it, if everybody go vote for her, you know, it's the same Flagaman as one low. You have big area, you have Treasure Beach, you have Flagaman, back down into Peter Cross, big area. So if everybody go vote, she have him.
Unlike Southwest, Southeastern St. Elizabeth once had one of the biggest drivers of commerce in Jamaica, the Alpart bauxite plant. Its industrial operations have long halted, and with it, a lot of the related commercial activity. But those loyal to the incumbent Frank Witter says his proactivity with repairing roads has ensured some economic activity continue to thrive.
Me get me support, me not tell no lie.
And this is even though Alpart closed, because less traffic not come through now that Alpart closed?
More and more. The only time we have problem with vehicle passing, anytime the road full of pothole.
Some young voters also line up with Mr. Witter because they are backing Dr. Andrew Holness to return as Prime Minister for a third term.
Comparing 2024 and 2025, I've seen drastic change in the crime rate. And that's something that I've always wanted to happen in Jamaica.
And speaking of the work of the government, some returning residents down here said they caught flights and feelings for this government based on one major metric, crime. Murders have been cut by 44%.
I can now sleep with my door open at night. I can now have my hammock under my veranda, enjoying the cool life of Jamaica, the cool living down here.
But some of those wishing to see the back of incumbent Frank Witter also appeared to be taking a national view. They want the PNP in power to deliver more houses for poor people. Some are also uncomfortable with Mr. Holness's personal issues with the IC. So for them, it is also time for change. And voting for Norman Scott is the way to do so.
And I know that if this thing comes true, it will work out. We see where PNP party deal with for the poor.
But others say Mr. Scott has also come in and in a short time has made an impact and would make a good MP.
It's not necessarily easy for young people to just jump into farming like that, especially with how things are going modernly now. You need more investment in certain areas and we need some more help in terms of building that out. So some of the things that he has suggested to help that would be very good for the community.
Like what?
So basically we have the investment fund that you will hear the General Secretary of the PNP speak about. So what they will do is have a fund that will invest into farmers.
For many of these residents, their representative must come from St. Elizabeth. It is a very big deal because someone who lived their daily struggles, especially with agriculture and healthcare, will know why the problems are literally life or death.
If I have or my husband has a heart attack, I can't call an ambulance. Why is that? Who is going to provide that for us? Which political party will provide an ambulance?
There's just one fatality we have in Jamaica. Every day people are dead. So we need more so you can build the college that they can learn to do those things.
It rained the day our news team visited the constituencies. Not enough to quench the people's thirst for a long-term water fix. But perhaps more of a reminder that these seats historically put the weather in weather vane and will likely do so again on September 3. Dwayne Anderson, TVJ News.
And later in this newscast, investigators say Minneapolis mass shooter was obsessed with the idea of killing children. We'll be right back.
Everybody out, fried chicken with a pre-bucket for the crew. Share a bucket together, everybody go live. Spicy original when we online. Bucket together to the new dance craze. Taste explosion bursting with flame. When we a bucket together, it put you in a good mood. Every moment to share is finger licking good. Bucket together, come make we bucket together. Bucket together, bucket together.
Heart's Skills on Demand portal connects skilled professionals with employers. The time by Heart and STA Trust is
7:33.
When things get heated, keep you cool. Follow us at MyJPS Online for new ways to keep you cool this summer. And download the MyJPS app to keep track of your energy usage.
Daddy never misses out on yoga. Give your family Beaker Zinc every day. It's fortified with zinc, vitamin D complex, and minerals, which increases immunity and keeps you revitalized. Beaker Zinc, the caretaker of the caregiver.
If you want $10,000 to spend this summer, what would you spend it on? Something nice? Something unforgettable?
So theme park or all inclusive?
Ask the experts.
If I win, you're not gonna see me in the same outfit twice.
Girl, I'd get a whole new closet.
Mommy, I got it covered. Tuition, everything, masters, here I come.
Invest in your future and celebrate while you're at it. They've got plans. What's yours? Use your NCB Visa credit card. Every 25,000 Jamaican dollars you spend is a chance to win 10,000 US dollars. Something nice for the summer. Promotion ends September 14. Conditions apply.
Pour it. Splash it.
shake it. However you choose to use it. You can be sure you're getting dairy, soy, and gluten-free, calcium-rich goodness that packs less calories than cow's milk. That's proven to lower blood sugar and cholesterol in the smooth, creamy, nutritious, original, vanilla, chocolate, and many more delicious flavors of Blue Diamond almond milk, as is the Blue Diamond standard.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Jamaica Labour Party is doing more for you and your pocket. No new taxes in 8 years. We have created over 250,000 new jobs. That's more Jamaicans working than ever before. Across every industry, we have delivered real progress. Real performance, not just promises. We're doing more for you, and we're not done yet. Choose results you can count on. Put your X beside the bell.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica...
Thank you so much for staying with us. To a primetime news follow-up now, the father of two siblings who were discovered dead in Swap District, St. Anne yesterday remains in police custody this evening as they continue their investigations. The deadly incident highlighted an ongoing issue in the parish, domestic-related violence.
Despite best efforts, domestic disputes continue to be a major concern for the authorities. Wednesday's brutal slaying of two toddlers in Monique, St. Anne has reignited debates on how disagreements among families and sometimes close friends are settled. According to Mayor of St. Anne's Bay, Michael Belnavis, even with the presence of a dispute resolution center in the parish, the authorities still struggle with addressing domestic violence.
People tend to want to just kill, maim, chop, fight whenever there are issues outstanding. And we need to go beyond that now.
Lucille Gooden is a justice of the peace in Monique. She stressed the critical role of JPs in managing conflicts, but notes it's not always easy.
You know, to be honest, it's unpredictable. You do not know what will happen, but you encourage people to stay close to each other and to bring, have a peace. That's the bottom line, to be at peace and to talk out their problems, talk about it.
The mayor is also encouraging residents in closely knit communities to be more vigilant of neighbors in distress.
And the community themselves need to be a watchdog on each other, because the police cannot be there and everywhere. But for us to move further, move forward as a community, we need to have each one look out for each one. There has to be a community intervention in most of these type of affairs, because what we're seeing now is just gruesome and two lives were just snuffed out for no reason. There could have these two lives could have been significant contributors to the Jamaican society.
Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
And it's time for a break. We have the business day when we return.
The Business Day on Wednesdays, brought to you by
Sagicor, celebrating 55 years.
I'm Sheena. I'm Melanie. I'm Elan.
I'm Burkan.
I'm Cedron.
And I'm Anna. Join us on the last Thursday of every month at 8:30 p.m. right here on TVJ for Inflation Watch, brought to you by Bank of Jamaica. That's Inflation Watch, where we discuss the factors influencing price changes in Jamaica. Keep watching.
little things make a big difference for Mother Nature.
The Business Day on Wednesdays, brought to you by
Sagicor, celebrating 55.
Welcome back. Time now for the Business Day. Campaigning comes at a cost, but for many businesses, it's also a payday. The election trail is proving to be fertile ground for raising sales and economic activity across the island. David Thomas reports.
Every election cycle turns into a marketplace. Candidates are the brands and voters are the customers. To win them over, campaign pumps millions into advertising, data analytics, rallies, and merchandise. On every street corner, banners are up and billboards are booked. Behind the scenes, dozens of vendors are cashing in.
So Bravo, talk to me about the sales. How has sales increased for you?
Yeah, it's increased from Anju, from Goli are coming in.
From who?
Anju Goli, the councillor. I am having an election, you know. Anju wants to go sit down.
So what you say about the sales now?
The sales are all right.
You're seeing an increase in sales since election?
Yeah. Wally.
We buy them a ton and we get them to say 150 or one, but we give God thanks for about $50 per our money. Bless them, Mr. Chin. I don't know where to us because the people them have to eat and
Gas stations, t-shirt printers, and other local businesses also see profits soar.
Yes, there's an increase in the sales of orange and green.
Just the other weekend gone, it was a Sunday, and we had so much traffic flowing through. I was wondering what was happening, and I realized that it was a campaign that was happening. So, yeah, it is a lot more, right, than we're not naturally used to on a weekend.
Last week we actually did a post where we displayed both political party logos, so we got a little traction from the social media platform. And I think that's good. I mean, we see where revenue has drastically increased. We have persons calling, we got social media reposts, etc. So it's a great look.
Campaign injects millions into the economy and sales increase drastically, and some small businesses see a boost. Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, Dr. Wayne Henry, explains this trend is consistent. He says increased spending during elections typically lift sales, and he expects the economy to grow by 2 to 3% in the July to September quarter, driven in part by higher consumption associated with election activities.
With intense election campaigning, you do see some increase in spending, some increase in economic activity, and at the least you would expect that sort of bump. Temporary upturn in terms of spending, consumption spending, and overall spending during that period.
However, the bigger question remains, when the campaign dust settles, will these businesses hold on to the momentum, or will the profit fade as quickly as the rallies disappear? Deidre Thomas, TVJ News.
Former co-chair of EPOC, Keith Duncan, has described the proposals by the JLP and PNP as highly aspirational. Speaking with Emily Shields on Hotline today, Mr. Duncan questioned whether Jamaica has the fiscal space to accommodate the expected revenue loss from the proposed tax measures. Mr. Duncan says there will be several risks in relation to the forecast in the fiscal policy paper for wages and salaries inclusive of employee contributions.
I know that the Jamaica Labour Party put forward a phased approach to the introduction of the 15% base rate on personal income tax. That it would be a phased approach, and I believe what I heard Julian saying in debate was that not everything we're going to have to do at one time. So I'm not sure exactly what their plan is, but we definitely know that for sure that the fiscal space it would be extremely difficult unless you are to carve out any level of expenditure cuts significant to match up with the revenues lost under either proposal. So therefore, it has to be phased.
Mr. Duncan says either proposal would have to be accommodated with additional taxation measures similar to 2016.
Beyond the fiscal balance that you're allowed to run.
Yes.
Right? And therefore, if you run a deficit, then you're going to have to borrow to finance that deficit.
Wow.
Now, if you're going to introduce taxation measures, which both parties have said they aren't, right, then you're going to have to cut expenditures. And as the numbers demonstrate, you don't have the room to cut.
The JSE index advanced by 421 points, while the junior market index advanced by 28 points. The winners included Sagicor Real Estate X Fund, Express Catering, Jamaica Producers Group, R.A. Williams Distributors, and Dollar Financial Services. The losers include Caribbean Assurance Brokers, JFP Limited, Cygnus Real Estate Finance, Berger Paynes Jamaica, and Palace Amusements, 16 stocks traded firm. Foreign exchange trading ended with banks and Cambio selling the US dollar for an average $160.92. The Canadian dollar is being sold for $117.30. The pound is going for $217.37, while the euro is selling for an average $188.33. And that's the business day. News from overseas after the break.
The Business Day on Wednesdays, brought to you by
Sagicor's the name you know. Sagicor. Sagicor, celebrating 50.
In news overseas from the United States, investigators say that the attacker who opened fire on children as they were praying at a church in Minneapolis was obsessed with the idea of killing children. According to Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara, Robin Westman, who killed 2 children and injured 18 others, did not seem to have any specific motive. The murdered children have been identified by family as 8-year-old Fletcher Merkel and 10-year-old Harper Moisky. Officials have released few details so far about the suspect's background, but they say she previously attended the church's school and had a mother who had worked there. The 23-year-old suspect is believed to have approached the side of the Annunciation Church, which also housed a school, and fired dozens of shots through the windows using 3 firearms. Police also found a smoke bomb at the scene. Sad news there.
It's very sad. And the Primetime News package continues with sports right after this break.
TVJ's Hurricane Tip, brought to you by...
Protect what matters most with home and contents insurance from Advantage General. Visit our website at advantagegeneral.com.
Water is a great conductor of electricity. Swimming, snorkeling, scuba diving, and even standing in puddles are not safe once there is lightning. Also, avoid taking showers, washing your hands and dishes, or doing laundry in a thunderstorm.
That was a TVJ Hurricane Tip, brought to you by...
Protect what matters most with home and contents insurance from Advantage General. Visit our website at advantagegeneral.com.
Spicy sweet combo, it mad. Get spicy in every slice with Pizza Hut's jerk pizzas. Jerk chicken, pepperoni, Hawaiian, and vegetarian. All based on our sweet and spicy jerk sauce. Pizza Hut's jerk pizzas.
Attention motorists, it's time to switch to the T-Tag on Trans Jam highways. The T-Tag system reduces the amount of cash handled at our toll plazas and makes it safer for our staff and motorists at the toll booths. The T-Tag makes it quicker, more cost-efficient, and safer for our customers. So switch to the T-Tag today and experience the convenience. T-Tag packages are discounted by 50% down to $1,250, including a $500 toll credit from now on till September 5th.
Do it for your best life, wait. Go check your HIV status, wait. So keep your life trending, no pretending. Me, I tell yourself, do it for you, do it for you. Every time you are link with a condom, coulda Aussie, coulda wife, coulda be a random. Condom connect, can protect your profile. Be your own fan, do it for your best life. Do it for your best life, do it. Don't put yourself at risk. Condom connect every time. Do it for your best life, do it.
BCIC is giving up to $5 million in free content insurance.
We've developed a free online calculator. So anybody in Jamaica, any homeowner can go on to BCIC online. You don't even have to be a BCIC customer, and it will give you a building value.
When you update your home's rebuilding cost with our online calculator, you'll get $5 million in free content insurance and up to 12 months to pay your premium.
If you're not insured, go get it now. Better to be safe than sorry.
It's Jamaica versus the world in Tokyo.
It's a fine win, and it's the Jamaican colours once again.
Fraser Price is going to get there. What a performance. At last, it's Jackson's turn to be the queen of sprinting.
A new wave of Jamaican talent will join established stars for the 20th World Athletics Championships. Live the excitement September 12 to 21 with live coverage, highlights, and insightful panel discussions on TVJ, TVJSN, OneSpotMedia.com, and Hits 92 FM.
The Jamaican's coming. He's closing.
The world is on notice.
Brought to you by...
When we jab it together, it put you in a good mood. Every moment you share his finger licking good.
Our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
Coming up in Primetime Sports Thursday, diamonds are a girl's best friend. Victory for national record holder at Zurich Diamond League Finals, and Mount Pleasant FA secure a second consecutive win in CONCACAF Caribbean Cup. Good evening. I am Jermaine Brown, and the details of these and more when we return. The World Athletics Championships heads to Japan, and TVJ will be there for the journey. September 13 to 21, the world's best athletes will clash inside the National Stadium in Tokyo. Following Paris, how will Jamaica's athletes fare against the best when put to the test? Find out on TVJ, TVJSN, One Spot Media, and Hits 92 FM with live coverage like nowhere else. The World Athletics Championships, September 13 to 21 in Tokyo, Japan.
Brought to you by...
When we jab it together, it put you in a good mood. Every moment you share his finger licking good.
Our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
Jamaica is paving the way to becoming a republic, or future or choice. The time by the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs is...
Welcome back. Let's kick things off with football as the ripple effects of the resignations of Chairman Chris Williams and CEO Owen Hill from the Professional Football Jamaica Limited, PFJL, continues. Former Vice Chairman of the PLCA, Carvel Stewart, says clubs haven't benefited financially. More in this report. When PFJL was formed in 2020, replacing the PLCA, their goal was to revolutionize Jamaican football.
Chris Williams was appointed chairman in November of that year, with Owen Hill being the CEO. Close to 5 years later, both men tendered their resignations 2 months apart, sending shockwaves throughout local football. Former vice chairman of the now defunct PLCA, Carvel Stewart, says financially the clubs in the nation's top flight have struggled.
It would have been hard. It would have been all.
So all 14 clubs did not receive any preseason funding?
Right, that's correct.
Wow.
There's been no preseason funding.
Yeah, and
the preseason meant you got a chance somewhere at the beginning of July. So you were expected to be ready for August, in which time you got the full amount, in which month you got the full amount. But whatever was available, you would get the full amount. But you got some preseason support for the month of July.
Stewart says the issue has been long-standing.
I know that last year and this year there was, and last year there were significant delays in receipt of funding and so on.
He says it even led to an executive of a club stepping down.
And he withdrew for that specific purpose. That what the business of funding, because what he started the first time he was here 2 years ago was chalk to cheese to what he's being told can be expected this time around. And he didn't think that he would be able to fill the gap that would now exist.
The financial struggles aside, Stewart said the clubs did what they could to complete last season's campaign.
So towards the end of last season, we went a couple of months without any disbursements of direct support. And the clubs did prevail and complete the season without it. So clearly people have their means and their efforts that bring them in, but it would have been better if they didn't have to struggle as they did.
Efforts to contact 2 other club executives for comment on the issue were unsuccessful, as calls to president of Dunbar Holding FC Donovan Witter went unanswered, while the chairman of Montego Bay United Uni Epstein declined to comment. The 2025-26 season started last weekend. Christopher Scott, TVJ Sport.
And to the field of play, defending champions Cavalier were leading 1-0 in their CONCACAF Caribbean Cup clash versus Juventus de Calles from Haiti and Savannah Park. Shamar Watson in the 18th minute is the difference maker so far. Cavalier had lost their opening match 2-0 to Cibao FC. Meanwhile, Mount Pleasant FA moved to the top of Group A after recording their second consecutive win in the CONCACAF Caribbean Cup. The former Jamaica Premier League champions secured a 2-0 win away at Mocha FC in the Dominican Republic on Wednesday night. Mount Pleasant were led by a double from Daniel Green, who scored in the 31st and 60th minutes in round 2 of the contest to move to 6 points. In the opening game at home last week, Mount Pleasant clipped SV Robin Hood of Suriname 1-0. This was the opening game of the campaign for Mocha. In the meantime, Central FC of Trinidad and Tobago and SV Robin Hood of Suriname battles to a 2-all draw in the other encounter from Group A on Wednesday evening. The result means both teams are still without a win after 2 games, with Robin Hood in 3rd and Central in 4th, both on 1 point. Universidad O&M are 2nd in the group. The winner and runner-up move on to the semifinals. And over in Group B, Rivaldo Carrera scored twice as Cibao defeated Weymouth Wales 2-1 to move to 6 points. Right then, we take a halftime break and come back with lots more. Stay tuned.
Okay, I see you. Okay, let me see you, Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you rock off, shake off. Let me see you rock off. Let me see you kick right, now kick left, now step forward, now step back. Lucasade, bring the energy.
Let Scotia Investments guide you towards a winning portfolio that will grow your wealth for generations to come. Call 888-429-5745 to learn more.
The time by Scotia Investments
7:59.
is...
And welcome back. And we get back on track with the news from Switzerland, where national record holder Kieran Nugent was the only Jamaican winner on the second and final day of the Diamond League finals in Zurich. It was on Thursday. But there was disappointment for Tia Clayton in her bid to qualify for the World Championships via the wildcard entry route. National record holder Kieran Nugent secured her first Diamond League trophy after scorching to victory in the women's 100-meter hurdles on the second and the final day of the Diamond League finals in Zurich, Switzerland on Thursday. Nugent clocked a season's best equal in 12.30 seconds to win the event.
Start gets out brilliantly. This has just got left a little bit short. Always starts quickly over the far side. And then right coming through the middle is Nugent. Nugent going well. It's Nugent just with the lead at the minute. Is she going to hang on to it? It's going to be Nugent to take it. 12:29. That is sensational. It might...
She won ahead of hometown girl, the Tajik Mbunji, who equaled the Swiss national record of 12.40, and American Grace Stark, who was third in 12.44. Reigning world champion and fellow Jamaican Danielle Williams also clocked 12.44 for fourth. Victory for 23-year-old Nugent meant she secured the Diamond Trophy and a U.S. $100,000 cash prize.
You know, I haven't won any Diamond League since the season has started, and to be able to win the major one at the end of the season is a really good feeling, and it's giving me a bit more momentum and confidence going into the World Champs.
Paris Olympic finalist Tia Clayton was the next best placed Jamaican with a second place finish in the women's 100 meters. She clocked 10.84 to finish behind Olympic champion Julian Alfred of St. Lucia, who sped to victory in 10.76. A victory for Tia would have guaranteed a wildcard entry for the 100 meters to next month's World Championships in Japan. Akeem Blake ended third in the men's 100 meters, clocking 9.99 behind American winner Christian Coleman 9.97 and South African Akane Simbine 9.98. Antoinette Knight also secured a third-place finish in the women's 400-meter hurdles, clocking 53.67. The event was won by Dutch star Femke Bol, who broke her own meet record in posting 52.18. And national champion Orlando Bennett ended 7th in the men's 110-meter hurdles in 13.35. The event was won by American Cordell Tinge in a meet record 12.92. In the field, reigning Olympic champion Roger Stoner was third in the men's discus with 67.06 meters. National champion Romain Beckford placed fourth in the men's high jump with 2.22 meters, while another national champion, Jordan Scott, was also fourth in the men's triple jump with 17.16 meters. And Paris Olympic silver medalist Shanika Ricketts ended fifth in the women's triple jump with 14.35 meters. Many of the athletes will now turn their attentions to next month's World Championships in Tokyo, Japan. The World Athletics Championships can be seen live and exclusive on TVJ and TVJ SN with radio coverage on Hits 92 FM. Now, World Athletics President Lord Sebastian Coe says athletes are overwhelmingly supportive of the gene test, which is being introduced for those wanting to compete in the female category. In March, the governing body approved the introduction of a one-time test for the SRY gene, which is part of the Y chromosome and causes male characteristics to develop to be applied for world ranking competitions. The test is only required to be taken once and can be conducted via a cheek swab or blood test. If the result shows negative for the Y chromosome, the athlete is eligible to compete in the female category. The regulations come into effect on September 1 and will be in operation for the World Championships beginning in Tokyo on September 13. Coe estimates more than 90% of athletes competing in the female category events in Japan will have been tested before arriving in the country, with the remainder then tested in their pre-competition holding camps. Some cricket news now. Jamaica's men's under-17 cricketers continue to find the going tough in the Cricket West Indies Rising Stars Regional 50-over tournament. They suffered a 91-run loss via the Duckworth-Lewis third method to Trinidad and Tobago on the 17s on Thursday. Batting first, the Trinidadians were restricted to 232 for 9 in 49 overs. Captain Salim Khan top scored for the Trinidad on the 17s with 48 at the top of the order, and he was supported by Zachary Stewart, who made 34. Ryan Littleton with 3 for 29 led the bowling for the young Jamaicans. Adrian Silvera and Andrew Lloyd supported with 2 wickets each, and there were 35 extras conceded. The Jamaicans in reply were interrupted by rain as they were eventually dismissed for 141 in 35.3 overs. Odin Binns 42 and DeMarcus Scott 41 were the main contributors for the young Jamaicans. Darren Danraj led the bowling for the young Trinidadians with 3 for 28. Back locally, Surrey stormed into the final of the Jamaica Cricket Association Kingston Wharves on the 15 competition with a comprehensive win over Cornwall on Wednesday. Batting first, Surrey posted a competitive 179 all-out from 46.1 overs. Opener Rajay Mengichi led the way for Surrey with a top score of 56. He was supported by Demaria Lee with an unbeaten 38. In reply, Cornwall were dismissed for just 94 in 38.5 overs. Mengichi completing a good all-round game, grabbing 3 for 23. Zachary Buchanan was the pick of the bowlers with 3 for 17. Jaden Bryce, 36, and Jaden Shaw, 21, were the top scorers for Cornwall. Surrey will now face the unbeaten Middlesex in the final on Friday at the Ultimate Cricket Ground in St. Anne. And that's where we pull up stumps for this evening. We take a break and come back with your recap. Stay tuned.
This is it. September 3 is Election Day. From sunrise to the final count, TVJ is your election station. Join us for wall-to-wall coverage, live reports from every corner of the island, expert analysis and instant updates as the story unfolds. Every vote, every voice, every moment captured for you all day long. Stay with us because your vote, your voice, your station is TVJ.
Hello, I'm Sheena. I'm Melanie. I'm Elash. I'm Brakan.
I'm Cedron.
And I'm Anna. Join us on the last Thursday of every month at 8:30 p.m. right here on TVJ for Inflation Watch, brought to you by Bank of Jamaica. That's Inflation Watch, where we discuss the factors influencing price changes in Jamaica. Keep watching.
Recapping the top stories making primetime sports Thursday, national record holder Kieran Nugent was the only Jamaican winner on the second and final day of the Diamond League Finals in Zurich, Switzerland on Thursday. But there was disappointment for Tia Clayton in her bid to qualify for the World Championships via the wildcard entry route. And Mount Pleasant FA moved to the top of Group A. That's in the CONCACAF Caribbean Cup after recording their second consecutive win. The former Jamaica Premier League champions, well, they were victorious, securing a 2-0 win away at Mocha FC in Dom Rep on Wednesday night. And that's where we put a wrap on a Primetime Sports Thursday. Stay tuned, though. Sports commentary with Oral, the Maverick Tracy, comes up next.
What's up, Marcia? Why you look so tired?
I go to the bank, but the bank full up.
You must use the ABM and online banking. Save you a lot of time and stress.
But I always wonder how ABM and online banking work.
They are part of the national payment system for people and businesses to pay and transfer money in Jamaica and sometimes overseas. This involves BOJ as a central bank and financial institutions which handle transactions for themselves and their customers.
That's why they have Multilink.
That's just one part of the story. Multilink is a shared network that allows customers to use their bank's debit cards at ABM or where they buy things. called point of sales transactions. That network is operated by a company called Jets Limited, which is owned by a group of deposit-taking institutions.
Watch as Jamaica's adults bring power, poise, and personality to the Jamaica Library Service Reading Competition. Don't miss the voices, the talent, and the celebration of Jamaica's rich reading culture on Monday, September 8th at 5:30 p.m. on TVJ and TVJI.
To do with the main part.
Who will rise above and capture the title of Adult Reading Competition 2025? Watch and find out.
So changes abound at the Professional Football Jamaica Limited, PFJL. Chairman Christopher Williams, going, soon gone. And CEO Owen Hill, going, soon gone too. We know no one is indispensable, but it cannot be denied that Williams and his team improved the football itself in the Jamaica Premier League. And in terms of the image, marketability, and the overall profile of the product, it was certainly good and improving. Of course, football is a game of egos. The bombardment of the local Premier League by these perceived outsiders, getting all the hype and the highlights, they just had to go. And while it's a fact that the game of football is bigger than any one or two individuals, the genuine fear is that all the improvements and all the ground made up will dissipate and eventually disappear as we quietly make our way back to square one.
Every child deserves a home filled with...
Well, I'm Gabby.
When hope meets heart,
yeah, man.
Journey begins.
All right, good. Me have you up on the screen, man. Don't worry yourself. Yeah, but guess what? Your face kind of dark. Where there? Out in the bush?
Family is built on moments shared.
Eh? Yo, Roger. You sound better now? Okay. Yeah, man, no problem, yeah. Yes, I. Eh? No, man. I come from upstairs, being at the parking lot of my working place. Yeah, it's a huge parking lot, you know, so they come outside, so when Denise come, they can just boogie with her, you know.
Same.
Yes.
On the weekend, showers and thunderstorms are expected Saturday and Sunday. Mostly cloudy conditions are forecast for Monday and also for Tuesday with isolated showers and thunderstorms across central and western parishes. For the marine forecast, tomorrow on the north coast...
One
You're
mall,
outside at the moment. When you getting inside, Gabby?
no, I said one mall then near to my workplace, you know, so.
Okay.
Denise gone at the mall. Ain't that woman go mall? Lord
Yes,
Jesus.
you know how that's stay already. Yeah, man.
Woo!
And there are no small craft warnings in effect. For our outlook, we're expecting the winds to drop down to 50 knots when that tropical wave is in the area on Saturday and Sunday, and this continues into Monday.
I want to make you tell you, Roger, this election is going to be a very close election.
Hey, I agree with you, man. It's going to be a real humdinger.
Oh yes.
There's going to be a lot of upset people one way or the other, you know?
Yeah, man. I'm talking to people from both sides of the aisle. Trust me. You know, PNP people say PNP are going to win. Jail people say JLP are going to win. You know? And they're giving me the reasons why their team are doing.
You know, Gabby, I'm having a problem hearing you. Let me see what I want. Either you talk low or...
Maybe I talk low. You hear better now?
No, I'm not. No. Normally, hey, as I said, you know, I'm just trying to. I try things, so I'm just wondering what's going on.
But yeah, hear me not at all though.
No, I can hear you definitely. But you're very low.
75%. The policy rate is a signal of the appropriate level of interest rates on loans and deposits. The MPC determined that current monetary policy, including the policy rate, supports inflation being contained within the target range over the next 2 years. The 12-month inflation rate at July was 3.3%, which means that the general rate of price increases has been kept low, stable, and predictable. Low inflation over the year resulted mainly from falling energy prices, impact of a reduction of GCT rates on electricity charges, and faster reduction in agricultural prices. The BOJ Monetary Policy Committee will take the
We're about 30 minutes now, about 40 minutes before it starts anyway, Gabby.
Yeah, you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I'm just saying we have about 40 minutes before it starts.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a whole heap of time, man. So do your thing.
Oh,
I need to see you in light. You're in dark, you know. You look like you're out hang.
All right, what me do then? When we reach home, then me lag back on.
Do we do? We have time, man. No worries, sir.
All right, me reach home within 40 minutes, yeah.
All right, cool, run it.
All right, yes.
The story is waiting.
For the recap, some responses to a recap question, and we've been asking, which issue are you most interested in? Which issues are you most interested in hearing about during tonight's leadership debate? The first response is from Angela. I am most interested in how corruption and the high cost of living will be addressed. Okay. Velma says Mark Golding needs to tell Jamaicans where he will get the money, or where will the money come from to fund the 3.5, and the PM needs to tell us what he's going to do differently to make people living below the poverty line live better. Jamaican Plug says, interested in knowing if and when Jamaica will become a republic by the governing party and how this will affect our laws, policy, and the way of life for the Jamaican people. Keep sharing your comments, facebook.com/televisionjamaica and post on X at TVJ News Center. Feel like giving trouble tonight?
No trouble.
What are you gonna?
No
what do you
trouble.
want to hear about?
I just want to remind our viewers that just after primetime news, we'll have our pre-debate show, which goes into the debate, and we'll have a post-debate show. That's primetime news. I'm Anthony Love.
And I am Andrea Chisholm on behalf of the news, sports, and production teams. Good evening.
The Jamaica Library Service Reading Competition is here. Watch Jamaica's brightest young readers bring the pages to life with passion, knowledge, and flair. Join us Monday, September 1 at 5:30 p.m. on TVJ and TVJI.
State two of the other gods in which Dave put his faith.
Who will turn their love of reading into the title of Junior Reading Champion 2025? Don't miss the energy, the brilliance, and the celebration of Jamaica's future leaders. This is it,
Election station. Join us for wall-to-wall coverage, live reports from every corner of the island, expert analysis and instant updates as the story unfolds. Every vote, every voice, every moment captured for you all day long. Stay with us because your vote, your voice, your station is TVJ.
With the national championships out of the way, the eyes of the nation's top athletes are now firmly on Tokyo. The stage is set for the World Athletic Championships in Japan. And TVJ, TVJSN, One Spot Media, and Hits 92 FM have the master plan. Tune in as we bring you 9 days of exhilarating action like only we can. Can Jamaica's athletes improve on the 12 medals from Budapest? Find out as we bring you the best coverage like nowhere else. The World Athletics Championships, September 13 to 21 in Tokyo, Japan, with live coverage on TVJ, TVJSN, One Spot Media, and Hits 92 FM.
Brought to you by...
When we are working together, it put you in a good mood. Every moment to share is finger licking good.
Our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
The 2025 season of TVJ's Junior Schools Challenge Quiz, starting Monday, September 8 at 6:30 p.m.
Hello, I'm Sheena. I'm Melanie. I'm Elad. I'm Burkan.
I'm Cedron.
And I'm Anna. Join us on the last Thursday of every month at 8:30 p.m. right here on TVJ for Inflation Watch, brought to you by Bank of Jamaica. That's Inflation Watch, where we discuss the factors influencing price changes in Jamaica. Keep watching.
Jamaica, an extraordinary place with pioneering people. Unfold some intriguing events since Jamaica's independence in the pages of the souvenir book, Best of Jamaica. Now available at
Yes,
The Gleaner. Buy a copy today. The Gleaner, where life unfolds.
Don't miss your future champions in action on Quest for Quiz, where bright young minds battle for a chance to shine on the big stage. Tune in weekdays at 6:30 p.m. only on TVJ.
Okay, good. I miss foot niece. I did first one for them.
Up next, the Supreme
Alda.
Ventures Lottery Draw.
If you're in, which guy?
The official live drawing of the Supreme Ventures Lottery Games. This could be your lucky day. Get your tickets out.
Oh, he was on here.
Good evening. It's Thursday, August 28th, 2025. I'm Christina, and welcome to the Supreme Ventures 8:25 p.m. live game draw. Now, before we begin, here's a quick look at our drive time winning numbers. All Supreme Ventures live games are being supervised by the Parity Gaming and Lotteries Commission and observed by the independent auditing firm PwC. Now, let's select tonight's winning numbers. We begin tonight's games with Lucky 5. Now, every day could be your lucky day, doing daily millions. So, buy your tickets now. And here are tonight's winning Lucky 5
Name
numbers.
Daily. Last name a Daily.
And here we go for your chance to be a
You know,
millionaire.
so I remember
You
him
need
good
number
now
3.
when me and him buck
Right
up at
after that, you're gonna
the
need
funeral.
number 5.
When he came to
Making
the
his way up
funeral
and down
that
the line
day.
now is your third winning lucky
Yeah,
five
because
number.
him
That's
know
lucky
me
number
good enough.
19.
And me just couldn't pick him up.
Following 19, we have the number 9. And now for your chance to be a millionaire, you're gonna need lucky number 6. And now,
Me
let's
remember
put
him good
some
now,
money
man.
in your top drawer. Tonight's jackpot is all of $1 million. So here now are your winning top draw numbers.
In one way.
And here we go for money on top of money. First up for top draw tonight, we have number 5. Falling 5 is down to lucky number 4. Coming up and down the line now is your third winning top draw number. That's
He have
number
one bigger
3.
sister that was
Following
there
3,
during
we have
Peach's time
Sweet 16 now.
that
And
used
at
to
$1 million,
work at a bank.
you're gonna need the number 12.
Yeah.
And now, let's
And
pick,
bigger sister.
play with, or solve this game. I hope you're feeling the winning Dallas numbers are coming right at you. Now, first up for your Dallas game tonight, we have the number 24.
That's good, that's good, baby. 100 years from now, people will say, who did
And
that?
downstairs, if you name something there, I think you're not go up top of it, right? You can't just walk up and read it. Everybody will want to read it when they come to school. I do.
Of course.
And then they're not going to read further than the first 10 days. Hey, we had to give us a Gary no matter who, no matter what. They won't read for me or your name. We feel for Hazel though, but she probably couldn't have made that. The number 6 follows, as well as not sure what's solid number 30.
Yeah, you know.
Next in line, we have the number 9. And we're going to grab for a Dallas game tonight. With lucky number 11. Now for some easy winnings for pick 2 game. Get those tickets out and let's play. Your first winning pick 2 number for tonight, here it comes. That's the number 34. Your second winning pick 2 number is the number 35. So once again, your winning pick 2 numbers are 34 and 35.
Yeah, don't
Next, you can play all of 3
brother.
ways. That's of course up to games now, your first winning pick 3 number tonight is lucky number 4. Your second winning pick 3 number.
It's a very good thing, though. I'm telling you, the entire school.
So again, your winning pick 3 numbers. Going there, he will send me one video.
Yeah, the entire school body must be very, very proud. Can you imagine how the picnic go feel good? Then have AC in the classroom and fun. I put on my group. I said, if we went had a classroom, all of us would have been nuclear physicists.
And of course, good luck. And it is the mega ball that has been selected. And now it's time for the big one. It's time for the monster winnings. So keep those tickets out. And here we go. What's it gonna be for us tonight? And it is the monster ball that has been selected. Now, let's take a look at tonight's winning numbers. Congratulations to everyone who won. Thank you so much for playing all of today's games. Please come back tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. for more games you love to play. I am Christina. Have a supreme night.
Hope you were a big winner. Play your favorite Supreme Ventures games every day and tune in for our live draw 6 times a day at 8:30 a.m., 10:30 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., and 8:25 p.m. on this station. Supreme Ventures, making winners every day.
Remix the summer with Digicel. 100 lucky winners win $100,000 each.
The time by Digicel is
31.
Hello, I'm Melanie. Thanks for tuning in to Inflation Watch, Bank of Jamaica's monthly series on price movements in the economy. At June 2025, headline or annual inflation, which is the general rate of increase in the prices of goods and services over the previous 12-month period, was 3.8%. This was slightly below the lower end of BOJ's target range of 4 to 6%. Headline inflation at June largely reflected more expensive residential rental rates relative to a year earlier. Continuing with this trend, the costs of meat and food sold by fast food restaurants and cook shops were also higher than last year. However, not all prices were higher. In particular, vegetable prices were lower relative to last year. There were also lower prices in the transport and information and communication categories of the Consumer Price Index compared to a year earlier. Remember that the Consumer Price Index is like a shopping basket filled with the goods and services that you usually buy. Adding to the slowdown in inflation, a reduction in GCT on residential electricity charges also helped to ease the overall increase in prices for June. Now that you know the factors that influenced inflation at June 2025, let's join my co-host BJ as he shares some useful information about the national payment system.
What's up, Marcia? I was wondering where you gone. Why you look so tired?
Oh, I'm going to the bank to do some business, but the bank full up.
You must use the ABM and online banking. Save you a lot of time and stress.
True thing, BJ. But I always wonder how ABM and online banking work.
They are part of the national payment system for people and businesses to pay and transfer money in Jamaica and sometimes overseas. This involves BOJ as a central bank and financial institutions which handle transactions for themselves and their customers.
Oh, that's why they have multi-link.
Well, that's just one part of the story. Multilink is a shared network that allows customers to use their bank's debit cards at ABM or where they buy things, called point-of-sales transactions. That network is operated by a company called Jets Limited, which is owned by a group of deposit-taking institutions. But the backbone to all those transactions is settlement, making sure the right people actually get the right amount of money in them account and in good time. They have two systems for settlement: Automated Clearinghouse, or ACH, and Real-Time Gross Settlement System, or RTGS. RTGS is mostly for large payments and when you want your money to reach quick. RTGS process transactions one by one. Same time people make them. It's ideal for amounts of $1 million or more. But RTGS payments are final and can't be reversed.
So how BOJ fit into this?
Bank of Jamaica oversees the national payment system. You know, make sure it's orderly. And they also own and operate RTGS. Another time I'll tell you about ACH.
All right, BJ, later.
A lot of useful information there, BJ. Thank you. And that's a wrap for Inflation Watch, looking at price movements at June 2025. Join us again next time when Bank of Jamaica will bring you another episode of Inflation Watch, where we track inflation and explore the factors influencing price changes in Jamaica. I'm Melanie. Stay tuned.
Welcome to TVJ's pre-debate discussion. I'm Emily Shields, and special welcome to those of you watching on TVJ's YouTube channel and the various social media platforms that are available. This evening, it's 6 days to go before election 2025. It's a highly anticipated leadership debate between Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, and Mark Golding, the leader of the opposition. It is a final of 3 debates. You've seen 2 so far. People have been trading score about who's won, and we look forward to seeing this evening who exactly it is who will claim the victory. So in the lead up to the debate this evening, we're going to have a look at what to expect, what do we want to see on the stage, some of the crucial issues that should arise, and you'll also hear our scorecard here this evening. Joining me in studio, therefore, Jermaine Barrett, founder and executive director of Jamaican Association for Debating and Empowerment. Good to have you, Mr. Barrett.
Good to be here.
Jody Ann Quarry, attorney at law and broadcast journalist. She's host of Morning Agenda on Power 106. Welcome, Jody Ann.
Hi.
Granville Knight, who is a social and political commentator. Good to have you, Mr. Knight.
Thank you.
And back on Zoom with us, we have political scientist Dr. Jermaine McAlpin. Welcome, Dr. McAlpin.
Thank you. Good evening to everyone.
Jermaine Barrett, let me begin with you. The stakes are high. Big debate. These 2 leaders have tried very hard not to meet. I think we last saw them at the Independence celebration. And they're meeting in a face-off that can have serious implications for what happens on the 3rd of September. What are you expecting?
Well, you've really highlighted an important thing to really examine, the extent to which they are able to deliver the speeches, the presentations, the responses in a cool, calm, determined and engaging fashion without losing their cool. I think I'm looking for a demonstration of head, heart, and hands. They must demonstrate that they have the intellect, mental fortitude, they have the heart, they have the compassion, the sense of feeling for the plight and the challenges that confront Jamaicans at large. And they must have the hand, they must demonstrate that they have done work and are therefore deserving of people's confidence
That's
for the elections.
fascinating. Head, heart, and hands.
Absolutely.
And you want a cool demeanor?
Absolutely.
You don't want belligerent, you don't want
No,
over the top.
not at all, not at all.
What?
Not at all.
That
If it is
rise
that,
up the crowd?
if it is that they become sort of, unhinged in this debate, it is demonstrative that as a prime minister they will become unhinged when the pressure starts to hit them.
Jody and Corey, let me hear you, because somehow I think that this is what the 21st century is looking for. Not my style, but that's what they seem to want.
I think that you're expecting to see 2 party leaders who see this debate as a way to speak to several sets of people. To speak to the party faithful, to rile them up, to give them quick quips, to have viral posts that come out of this debate that allow for persons to say, that is what my leader said, and that is who you should have as prime minister. You're looking at 2 leaders who need to use this platform the last few days before election to shore up the constituencies that might need a little push, to allow for those MP candidates who might not be going over the line, to have persons say, maybe I don't vote for the MP candidate, but I like that person there on the television. I want that person to be my prime minister. And then finally, you have to speak to Jamaicans who say, I need to understand the details of the plans. Tonight is not going to be a day where either leader can talk in grand terms without being really, really specific. And so today you're going to have to see people speaking to their manifestos, speaking to their plans, speaking to what they have achieved or what they plan to achieve, and to tell us how.
Granville Knight, what are you expecting?
Well, there are 2 things. There's what I expect,
and then there's what I anticipate will happen tonight.
Love it.
What should be happening tonight is two things. One, the final lady in the coffin has to say why you should vote for the JLP versus the PNP.
Yes.
But more important than that, tonight is a debate of the prime ministers. That's what it is. Now. That's all tonight comes down to. Who is best to be prime minister? And when I've looked at the past debates, the winner of the debate tend to be the winning party. So we have heard the debates before now. There's been much to say as to who was the strongest debate team. It was team PNP, some say it was team JLP. But when I look back at all the past prime ministerial debates, I found that the strongest speaker on the night, their party tend to win. Of course, we know that there are other factors. And we
may have been one
accept
before
that,
the
yes.
debate.
So what I expect tonight is for the prime minister, not
Andrew
Holness,
or the prime minister
Mark
waiting.
Golding, or the prime minister in waiting. But we anticipate that the prime minister for the next 4 to 5 years will showcase themselves tonight. But what will they get? Well, we of course may get some of that. But we know that tonight will be a lot of politicking. We'll be we'll be talking about the manifestos, their final message to the nation as to why you should vote for me.
Yes.
But we want substance tonight, we want content, we want structure. And we want a message that it speaks to not just the political base, the simple knowledge. We want the facts because there are persons who appreciate the economic facts that will be presented tonight. And of course, the simple knowledge also for the simpler folks.
Dr. McAlpin, what are you expecting?
I'm anticipating some kind of visionary statement and like Granville said, for them to look at the big picture.
Yes.
But there are some unanswered questions. And I think the Prime Minister has more pressure on him than does the leader of the opposition. The burden of proof lies with him, especially with some unfinished business from the 2016 manifesto. I'm looking to hear more about why some of the past pledges were not fulfilled or achieved, and how and why should Jamaica give the Jamaica Labour Party another opportunity to continue along this trajectory without some of their major promises from the 2016 manifesto not fulfilled. And so it's really the question of who is a bigger visionary, who can cast a longer shadow in terms of what Jamaica needs now in terms of leadership. This is a leadership debate, so I don't anticipate that it should go down to the kind of, brass tacks kinds of debate in terms of the ad hominem attacks. I'm hoping it doesn't. I want substance over hype. And I know Jody said some quips, and that's great, but I really want to hear what are the plans should your party win and should you become the Prime Minister.
But have you been watching both of the leaders over the last couple of years? Jermaine Barrett, for example, Mark Golding is extremely talented on the parliamentary stage.
Absolutely.
He recalibrates for the political stage. Andrew Holness has come into his own, where he also makes good parliamentary presentations, and he's also making waves when he goes out politically. Judging from those two different personas that emerge, how do you expect that each of them will show up and face off this evening with all of the different expectations from people? Tell me how they decide what persona do I come to the stage with all of those different things coming together.
I think both of them will have to demonstrate a persona that is about the average of the two kinds of personas that you just described, because they're talking to an audience that is diverse. They're talking to the sort of grassroots Jamaican. They're talking to the intellectuals. They're talking about two persons of different class and within the various stratas of the society. And so I think you will see some dipping into some conversations that are real, that are almost guttural in nature. For example, I can think of the Prime Minister talking about that old lady with whom he interacted, who said, "Prime Minister, I'm tired to carry water up on my head top," right? Those kinds of narratives. I think Mark Golding will do a lot of the same as well, to make the kinds of big sort of macro indicators and that kind of a technical conversation seem real to people's lives.
Right.
You're going to get a lot of that.
Jodianne, as you practice in the court, you are, I'm sure, very familiar with previous inconsistent statements. And there have been so many previous inconsistent statements that have been made. To what extent are you looking for questions to come saying, you said this at one point in time, then you bob and weave and said this at another point in time? How much are you looking for that to decide on issues of credibility if they come in at all for you in this debate?
I think it must come up. I think the two questioners we have tonight, Dion Jackson Miller and Giovanni Dennis, are the kind of people who will dig to go find that you said this thing and now you have changed your mind. I think that is going to be important because we have some massive issues on the table. Foreign policy and what's going on in Venezuela and Cuba, the implications of things like that, what you said in the past, what it means now, things about here, local life in Jamaica, economy, what you thought was feasible about raising income tax thresholds, what was not feasible. You have to drill down because those inconsistencies now allow me to see if I trust you. And that trust factor will then play into what people consider to be this prime ministerial persona that you bring across. Are you the kind of person I can trust to squire the country into the next 5 years?
Yes. Come on now, Mr. Knight, tell me how you expect the previous inconsistent statements to play.
Of course, that is a big part of politics. That's something I've seen. What you said then versus what you say now. We know for surety that what has been a part of the narrative for this election, especially on PNP side, is a matter of integrity. Can you be trusted? And when I look at, once again, I'm looking back at all the prime ministerial elections. Every now and again, the matter of integrity comes into play. What did you say? Can you be trusted? So that is going to be a very important part of tonight's debate. But then performance is going to be called into question as well.
When I come back, I'll deal some more with those and we'll look at our debate scorecard. We'll tell you what we're looking for. Send your messages to hashtag TVJ Debates 2025. Let us know if you want us to add anything to the scorecard. We'll take your comments on air. This is a pre-debate analysis show. Stay with us.
The three-part election debate series broadcast live on TVJ, Radio Jamaica, social media platforms, and YouTube. Both party leader will make a...
Find out what 60 more grams of protein can do for you. Fuel the hustle with True Shake Protein Plus. The time by True Shake is
8:47.
This year, an extremely active hurricane season is anticipated. Make sure your home and contents are fully covered. Protect what matters most with home and contents insurance from Advantage General. Visit our website at advantagegeneral.com.
Following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
When I chose to serve, it wasn't about politics. It was about love for country, for people, and a passion to ensure every Jamaican can secure the future we all deserve. And we have made real progress. Thousands of Jamaicans now have water for the very first time. New roads have been built. The murder rate is at its lowest in decades. Poverty and unemployment are at record lows. And we have done it all without imposing new taxes. That's not a promise, that is delivery. No matter which political party you have supported in the past, this election is about Jamaica's future. We're doing more for you, and we're not done yet. Jamaica is moving forward, and we must keep building. The Jamaica Labour Party has a strong team that is getting the job done. We are committed to you, your family, your future, and to Jamaica land we love. I am Andrew Holness. Put your X beside the bell.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
This message is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
We are at the best point ever in agriculture in Jamaica. Very soon, we will have more than 50% of our irrigable arable lands irrigated. I had the great pleasure of breaking ground for the Hydro Plains project. The Essex Valley is underway, almost completed. And all of those projects are bringing more lands under irrigation. The Ministry of Agriculture has moved with great speed and alacrity in bringing lands under their agro park, under the agro invest strategy. There are lands available for persons who are interested in investing in agriculture to work on those lands. I had the pleasure of looking at the Parnassus Agro Park with farmers from all over Jamaica, including returning residents, putting in many acres of crops. We are at a good place. We must now expand and invest in our agriculture.
This message is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
From me eye there me knee, Mummy used to always remind me of those good old Jamaican proverbs to keep me wise. Proverbs like, what goat do, kid follow. Good friend, better than pocket money. And if you can't catch Quaco, you catch him short. Just like the proverb, Fosca Oats is ingrained in Jamaica.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Jamaica Labour Party is doing more for you and your pocket. No new taxes in 8 years. We have created over 250,000 new jobs. That's more Jamaicans working than ever before. Across every industry, we have delivered real progress, real performance, not just promises. We're doing more for you, and we're not done yet. Choose results you can count on. Put your X beside the bell.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour.
10 minutes to go before the third and final debate for this debate season. Election comes up 3rd of September 2025. We're looking at things to expect. We'll tell you about our scorecard in just a moment. Back with Jody and Quarry, Jermaine Barrett, Granville Knight, and Dr. Jermaine McAlpin. Dr. McAlpin, before the break, previous inconsistent statements made by each of those to be on the debating stage tonight. How well do you expect those matters to play?
Well, they may trip up someone tonight, because you're going to now have to justify why you said it then and why you've changed. If you want to use the language of I've grown, then sure, but I think it's about the rhetorical arguments, what you can do to convince someone that you are to be trusted, even if you have vacillated in terms of what you've said in the past, you can be trusted. I think it's now the question of trust, and 6 days before the election, it's not promising, but it is posturing. I think that's where we are now. We've seen the manifestos and the supplementary manifesto. It's now about the posturing. Are you posturing to be prime minister? Do you look the part? This is now the grand stage. This is the playbill. The playbill is out, and tonight I think is a playbill, and who does it best will certainly come out victorious. And like Granville, I also agree that the stronger leadership debater tends to be the party that wins.
Right. We have the issue of the investigation concerning illicit enrichment that has hovered over this prime minister for a number of months now. Then we have the issue of the holding of a UK passport over Mark Golding. Questions as to where exactly was he born and whether he should disclose. Do they play at all tonight, Jody and Quarry?
I don't think so. I think those are pre-election discussions. I think if they have been ventilated before, this platform is not necessarily the best place to have it, except when it comes to the accountability question of Integrity Commission. I don't think on the basis of whether or not Mark Golding is qualified or disqualified from being a prime minister, it's too late in the game right now. But the question as to whether or not the Integrity Commission's investigation continues to play a part in how persons perceive Dr. Holness is going to be something that Mark Golding is likely to speak about tonight, especially as he tries to score political points.
So let me come to Jermaine Barrett. So the issue of UK passport, is that solely qualification? And if so, does it play here at all for you?
I think it is an attempt to implicate both, but I agree with Jody. It will not matter. It will not shift the needle either way. I think the integrity issue is more relevant, and I expect that Mark Golding will press the integrity issue very forcefully. I think if the Prime Minister's response is to beat the drum beat about Mark Golding's citizenship and so forth, again, that is a losing cause.
Right. What about you, Mr. Knight? What do you think about those two issues?
The UK citizenship issue is not a factor, but I can tell you the matter of integrity will be. Looking back, once again, I'm going back in history, the 2011 debate between Simpson Miller and Andrew Holness.
That's right.
One of her winning points for that debate was the matter of corruption and integrity and what have you done about it? Because you have done nothing, what will you do about it, as since you have said about it? So we know that tonight, that is I promise you that must come up tonight in tonight's debate because it's one of the major winning points that the opposition has right now against the leading party.
So our leadership debate scorecard, this is what we've made up. We have columns of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. We have a question. For each question, we have a sheet of paper. In one column, we have content. In the other, we have structure of arguments. In the other, we have delivery, which includes tone, command of stage. And I think Jody recommended, does the person look or sound Prime Minister?
Do you have that leadership demeanor that allows us to say, this is the person that we can trust to squire now us into the next 5 years?
Right. And then we have the rebuttal, which will play a big role. How do you hit but recalibrate and get to the question? And then we have the total score and additional comments. So our aim, in fact, for all of the debates, what I do, I sit by myself in a room completely away from everybody. I don't want to hear a dog bark. I don't want to know what you think. I don't want to see social media. I do the assessment in a bubble, and that's what we're going to do tonight. Take our notes here and then score and then come back. Right? What about what the people, what they wear? Is that a big issue for you? Well, you wouldn't have an issue at all, Jermaine Barrett, with what they're wearing.
They're all in black. They're all in black.
They're all in black for you. Does it matter the color of the tie, Jody? What does it say to you?
It does. These are two men who are going up there now. Is it a well-fitted suit? Are you looking like somebody who doesn't look rumpled? Are you looking like somebody who's rested? Are you looking like somebody who's prepared? Yeah. Part of that demeanor and that look and that willingness and ability to lead is how are you presenting yourself now to the nation as the person that is going to be our Prime Minister? It's these little things that matter and add to or take away from your credibility.
Yes, and as you say that, I mean, Granville Knight, the Prime Minister in particular, has been all over the country at all different hours of the morning. Do you expect him to come looking a bit tired, or will there be no excuse for however he looks? He needs to come to the stage looking fresh.
There's absolutely no excuse for tonight.
Yes.
He's Prime Minister. He has done this before. He know this is what, his third political debate at this level. So he should come prepared. He should know what is happening. But if he's tired, that's on him. Tonight is about image, and tonight, whether or not you're tired, you must show up as the Prime Minister. What if you had an emergency meeting at this hour night and you're coming from overseas? You'd have to show up fully. So I'm expecting that tonight.
Dr. McAlpin, just before we throw to the Debates Commission, talk to me about what they wear. Is that a big thing for you?
It's again performance and stagecraft, so I expect them to be in suits that are properly fitted. I also expect them to have the kind of posture that this is the person you want to be Prime Minister. So you have to look the part.
All right. Come back with us at 10:30 for the post-debate analysis to the Jamaica Debates Commission for the big face-off between Andrew Holness and Mark Golding. Stay tuned.
This year, an extremely active hurricane season is anticipated. Make sure your home and contents are fully covered. Protect what matters most with home and contents insurance from Advantage General. Visit our website at advantagegeneral.com.
This message is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Do you have the financing to support a long-term investment program in water? And the answer to that is yes, because we have managed the economy in such a way as to be able to do that. We deliberately make a point of every week either breaking ground, handing over, turning on, not announcing, because it shows you the track record of delivery. So you can have faith in that yes, you don't have it now, but there is a program in place backed by good fiscal management so that it can project the revenues into the future.
But good man, you hear me?
Yeah man. And that's what you want. You want government policy with endurance.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Who else join us?
Okay, I see you. Okay, let me see you, Cherry Hill. Yeah, now take it back. Let me see you rock off, shake off. Let me see you rock off. Let me see you kick right, now kick left, now step forward, now step back. Lucasade, bring the energy.
This year, an extremely active hurricane season is anticipated. Make sure your home and contents are fully covered. Protect what matters most with home and contents insurance from Advantage General. Visit our website at advantagegeneral.com.
Little things make a big difference for Mother Nature. And it's our responsibility to do all we can to restore the earth. Plant a tree. Conserve energy. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Let's take care of our home. It's the only one we've got.
Wendy's Biggie Box. Craving the flavor, the moment to savor. Give me that Wendy's Biggie Box. The time my Wendy's is.
JM Group, Lasco Chin Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie, H&L Homes, and VM Group. Tonight, we focus on the leaders. Our moderator is Archibald Gordon.
Good evening. Welcome to the final of 3 general election debates organized by the Jamaica Debates Commission, staged before a live studio audience. The debates are intended to assist in identifying, clarifying, and understanding the issues being presented in this general election campaign. This evening's debate focuses on the leaders. Members of the panel of questioners are Dion Jackson Miller, Radio Jamaica 94 FM, and Giovanni Dennis, CVM TV. Taking and presenting questions from the public is our social media editor, Amoy Harriott, from CVM TV. I am your moderator, Archibald Gordon. As is customary, the audience is not to applaud the debaters except for now, after we announce each debater. Tonight, representing the People's National Party is party leader Mr. Mark Golding. Representing the Jamaica Labour Party is party leader Dr. Andrew Holness. The guidelines for tonight's debates have been previously agreed and are posted on the Debate Commission's website at www.jamaicadebatescommission.org. The guidelines include questions being no longer than 30 seconds, and each debater is allowed 90 seconds to respond to each question, and rebuttals are limited to 45 seconds. The questions posed in tonight's debate will come from 2 sources. The first source is you, the public. Send us your questions via direct message on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to Jamaica Debates. These will be checked, selected, and asked by our social media editor. The second source of questions is from our panel of journalists. Questions are not influenced by the Jamaica Debates Commission in any way. Our sign language interpreters tonight are Dorothy Williams and Terrian Bernard from the Caribbean Christian Center for the Deaf. Based on a previous coin toss, our first question tonight comes from Dion Jackson Miller of the RGR Group, and it will be directed to Dr. Andrew Holness.
Dr. Holness, government members have recommended taking the Auditor General off the Integrity Commission. There have been changes made by your administration to the Office of Political Ombudsman that have virtually destroyed its effectiveness as a check on the behavior of politicians. And there have been constant attacks by members of your administration on the Integrity Commission and on media and civil society groups that criticize your administration. Shouldn't Jamaicans be concerned about what appears to be a pattern by your administration of undermining oversight bodies in the public sector, civil society, and media?
There is absolutely no attempt by my administration and indeed myself to undermine any oversight body. Indeed, we have acted to strengthen and make them far more efficient in placing the oversight of the political ombudsman
under the office of the Electoral Commission. That's a move to strengthen and give it far more institutional framework. I myself have been very complimentary and acted in a very dignified way as it relates to the Integrity Commission.
Mr. Golding will have the opportunity to respond.
There has been a definite pattern of hostility from the Jamaica Labour Party government towards the institutions mentioned in the question, in particular the Integrity Commission, largely because it is well known that there are at least 10 members of Parliament who are under investigation for illicit enrichment, a serious corruption offence, of which the only one to be known is the one for whom a report has been completed and sent to the Parliament, which is you, Andrew. As a result of that, they have done their very best to try to neuter that critical institution, including the Prime Minister bringing that institution to court to undermine its effectiveness and indeed eliminate it entirely.
Our next question comes from Giovanni Dennis, and it goes to Mr. Mark Golding.
Mr. Golding, Keith Duncan says the PNP's proposal to increase the income tax threshold to 3.5 million is impractical and impossible to fund without new taxes. Can you explain how these planned tax breaks will work without hurting the economy?
The context in which we have decided to increase the threshold to 3.5 million is the hollowing out of the middle class in this country. Working families finding it extremely difficult to make ends meet. And we believe with the debt to GDP ratio having now, after 13 and a half years of belt tightening and austerity, having now reached the cusp of the target of 60% of GDP introduced into the fiscal rules in law under Portia Simpson Miller, this is a time, this year it's expected to actually, with the readjustment of the definition and calculation of GDP, this is the year that we expect to achieve that target. That will release 2.5% to 3% of GDP of additional resources, which were not previously budgeted for in the fiscal policy paper. That is more than sufficient to pay for our entire program, including the $3.5 million increase to 3.5 million of the tax threshold, which will make our civil servants and our middle managers, and indeed most of Jamaicans who are presently suffering under the high burden of the cost of living, have money that they can spend, they can fix up their homes, extend their homes with a room, buy a car if they don't have one, pay down debt where they may be in arrears. It is necessary to preserve the country from brain drain and to keep the society intact.
Dr. Holness now has the opportunity to respond.
The hollowing out of the middle class is an act of the PNP. They totally decimated the middle class. It is the Jamaica Labour Party that introduced the increase in the non-tax threshold that recreated a middle class in Jamaica. In fact, when you look at the salary profile of PAYE contributors, you would see that their salaries have all risen. It is the Jamaica Labour Party through the compensation review that has increased salaries by over 200 billion Jamaican dollars for public sector workers. The current proposal of the PNP is unworkable.
It's now time for a question from social media. We're going to Amoy Harriet.
Thanks, Archie. Our first social media question tonight comes from Instagram. Shania in Kingston, she says, low voter turnout suppresses the effectiveness of a democratic society. Many Jamaicans refuse to vote because they believe both parties are corrupt. What would you say to the significant population of non-voters? And if elected, how will you hold politicians accountable for offenses against the people instead of protecting them?
So in this instance, the question, you have 90 seconds to answer, and we begin with Dr. Holness.
Corruption is a serious problem in our country. And corruption requires strong leadership. From my position as Prime Minister, I have taken action against any member of my political party that has been involved or accused of anything that suggests corruption. In my own case, I have been investigated for a year with an expert forensic auditor. The findings of that report have suggested no corruption. There have been no charges. Every aspect of my report, every aspect of my personal life and my personal financial details are in the public domain. I am the politician about which Jamaica knows the most. And therefore, I am the politician who can stand with the greatest moral authority to treat with any matter that is considered corrupt, as I have done in the past. And I want to give this assurance to the Jamaican people that you know me, you know about me, you can trust me, and you know that I stand against corruption.
Mr. Golding has the opportunity to respond to that social media question as well.
Andrew, what they know about you is that you have 28 bank accounts, that you received several $1 million in cash deposits from anonymous donors in your bank account, that your companies had transactions of over $400 million, several thousand transactions between them, and that Positive Jamaica Foundation, a non-profit which you are intimately connected with, provided resources which you use for personal investments through your personal company. We have signed the Leadership Code of Conduct developed by Integrity Commission. All of our spokespersons and myself have signed. None of your people have signed it. I am committed to ensuring that all members of the executive, when we form government, will have their Integrity Commission declarations published, not just the leader of the opposition and what should happen, but hasn't happened in your case because you're not certified, the Prime Minister. So the whole question that has been asked is an excellent question. And we really need to step up our vigilance against corrupt behavior, nepotism and cronyism. The volume of scandals under this Jamaica Labour Party government is unprecedented. Over the number of ministers who have had to be removed from frontline duty, many of them parked in the naughty corner in OPM rather than being sacked. It is a disgrace to the country, and your personal situation where you're operating under a deep cloud because your Integrity Commission declarations are not certified also is something which Jamaica cannot go forward with.
We'll now take a short break and we invite you to stay tuned.
Gabby, what make they never make the man rebut them something what Golding say?
Exactly. They can't take a break this up. The man question.
I wanted to hear what he had to say. Me no lie any side, but Golding said a lot of stuff that maybe couldn't be proven, could have been lied, could have been
to the communities we serve, by empowering individuals and organizations.
What I'm saying is that you have to give the man a chance there, so you can't go to break. Right?
Yeah. But once the song come on, it really it's really loud. That's what I wanted to sort out.
Okay.
But by the way, guess what? Did you notice something about Mark Golding?
Tell me.
In boss, he breathing. He's tired.
Oh, you mean he's tired already?
Yeah, man, he boss.
Hey, and that TV first quarter yet and him boss.
You want to drink so horse tonic or so water with they say the water with the horse drink and that he want to drink, man.
He want some tantology. But Roger.
So I don't like the fact that I wanted to hear the rebuttal. You can't just say it and left it and then move on. You get me?
Yes, the rebuttal should have done before they went to break. Because right there, Marky G take the man and throw him in front of a bus and lick him and run over him and back up on him. You understand?
Yeah, man. Speak louder if you can, Gabby. Let me see if it makes any sense.
Hey, can you? Where's that, Roger?
Speak louder. Have you got a separate mic or are you using the mic on the computer?
Yeah, using the mic from that. Yeah.
Excellence
and quality. Quality products,
Can you imagine how Elder lose his mind when he hear 28 bank account?
I know. My Bridget said him now watch nothing. He now watch no. Hey, you know, don't text him now and see if he might watch.
Yes. Once him hear 28 bank account, him lose his mind.
How to mark your ballot. Easy and confidential. When you receive your ballot, take a moment to read it carefully. Mark your ballot clearly with an X beside the symbol of the candidate of your choice.
One of the mistakes that Andrew Holness make. I would never want my wife.
Really surprising though. I'm thinking in my mind, okay, go after the corruption, Andrew. But at the end of the day, you're saying the guy's corrupt, but the country's doing well. What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? But if you remember, the Democrats went after Trump character, and nobody in their business. If you understand what I deal with.
Right.
What they're going to do, you know what I mean? Interesting.
Let me tell you something, man. I know how Jamaican politics run. And every politician, two of them up there, he has skeleton in the closet. Trust me. And I think about it now, Roger. You're going to politics clean enough. But the people who you have to deal with, they are going to corrupt you.
Right.
Yeah. So I like how my man Julian Robinson debate this man. I like when he talk about Nyama food there. And you remember I run for
both of them are trying to be very calm and collected. And you know, gentleman-like, you know what I mean? But listen out for your guys, his breathing though. Because, you know, there's excitement, there's unfitness as well, you get me?
Yeah, he's very unfit, man. Very unfit. First of all, he's overweight like me, you know?
Gabby.
You.
Take off your green shirt, man.
No, man. A navy blue, man.
You see me there wearing nothing green. We wear what? Modelo.
You see what it say?
Modelo.
Yeah. Hey, I will not.
That means you can't drink all Heineken and all them something they done.
I want if you're PNP and can't see green beer, you're mad. You have to make sure your throat in one glass. Oh my God. By the way, Roger, if Jerry Jones give Michael Parsons any money yet?
Water, JN Group, Lasco Chin Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie, H&L Homes, and VM Group. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
Welcome back to the Leaders Debate presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. We invite you, the public, to send us your questions via direct message on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to Jamaica Debates. We now ask Dion Jackson Miller to start this segment with a question for Mr. Mark Golding.
Going back to the income tax proposal, Mr. Golding, because several people have been taking issue with your numbers. The PNP's assertion that it can fund the proposal through projected revenue growth doesn't seem to take into, as well as organic revenue growth, doesn't seem to take into account increase in expenditure. That's also projected, as well as low growth rates that no government in recent years has managed to overcome. Isn't it true that your numbers just don't add up?
The fiscal policy paper does project over the next 3 years some $160 billion of additional revenue. The degree to which there are accompanying expenses will depend on how we manage the expense side of the budget. There's also the fact that there's $360 billion of programs in the budget that represent the priorities of a given government at a particular point in time. When we are elected, we're not going to be elected to maintain the current trajectory that Jamaica is on. People want to see change. And most fundamentally, the issue really is the fact that we are coming to the end of the period of austerity, the period where Jamaica has been for 13 and a half years, steadfastly paying down debt so that the debt to GDP ratio, which we inherited at 147% of GDP at the beginning of 2012, is now, in this fiscal year, projected to achieve the target of 60% of GDP. Once that happens, we no longer have to reduce debt as a priority. We just have to maintain that debt profile. That will release resources of 2.5% to 3% of GDP, which is close to $90 billion of additional resources which no longer have to be part of your primary surplus target. So we will be able to fund our program quite comfortably come April next year when the fiscal year starts.
Dr. Holness,
there is a song which says, when the rum tells you you're a big dancer. I don't know what the leader of the opposition was drinking. Firstly, the debt to GDP for this fiscal year is not projected to be 60%. It is projected to be 65% thereabouts. If the leader of the opposition is depending on growth to provide the revenues for $75 billion of expenditure, the country would have to grow between 8 and 10%, which has not done that since the 60s. Thirdly, yes, there are $300 billion of programs. What are these programs? Pharmaceuticals.
Thank you, Dr. Holness. Thank you, Dr. Holness. Our next question is from Giovanni Dennis, and it goes to Dr. Holness.
Dr. Holness, you said on February 7, 2016 in Sam Sharp Square, Montego Bay, within our first 100 days in government, we will start the legislative process to fix the general election date in Jamaica. It's been 3,490 days since. In your May 2016 budget debate, you further stated the country should not be distracted by protracted periods of uncertainty. Yet, that's exactly what happened with this year's election. After 2 consecutive terms in office, you have failed to deliver on this promise. Why?
Your research into this matter, I respect the question, is incomplete. At the calling of the 2020 general elections, I explained to the public in Parliament that our government actually started work on fixed election date, and we found that it was inconsistent with our constitutional arrangements. And therefore, we did not include it in our 2020 manifesto. It is no longer a part of our platform. More to that, however, is the fact that in seeking to have all of these previous considerations included, we went about putting in place a constitutional reform commission that would bring all the considerations for constitutional reform under an expert review. That expert review was thwarted by the opposition. So yes, these considerations were considered from 2016, but the reality of our constitutional arrangement made us take a different route, which is to go to a comprehensive constitutional reform, which was frustrated by the opposition.
Over to Mr. Golding to respond.
Just before I respond, just to point out that Mr. Holness's data is not current. The Fiscal Commissioner issued a release, I think it was today actually, indicating that with the National System of Accounts being updated, GDP has been adjusted, and we're now at 62% of GDP. That's what the debt is at the end of March this year, and we will more than likely achieve 60% this fiscal year. No, please, you're not entitled to do that. The flip-flopping from the Prime Minister is manifest. They were supposed to have impeachment. There's no impeachment. Fixed election day, no fixed election day. Ring fencing the NHT, they have taken over $130 billion out of the NHT. Cannot be trusted.
Just reminding that there is a format to the debate and asking the debaters to respect the format to which they have agreed. It's now time to go to the next question. Social media. Amoy Harriet, over to you.
This question comes from Janine. Parliament has passed a constitutional amendment bill and a referendum bill to transition Jamaica into a republic. Could you clarify the economic and administrative implications of this transition and how you intend to ensure that the process doesn't distract from Jamaica's economic priorities like debt reduction, investment diversification, and public services?
That question goes to Mr. Golding first, and then to Dr. Holness.
In answer to the question, we can whistle and ride. So we have done very well as a nation in reducing our public debt. We ensured that the fiscal rules were very strong with an algorithm, an equation in the fifth schedule to the Financial Administration Audit Act that determines the fiscal balance that must be hit by each year's budget, and that has ensured that successive governments have stayed on course to take it down to 60%. We can do constitutional reform, but it requires authentic consultation with the people, and there must be an effort to have bipartisan consensus on critical issues. And we have not been able to achieve that consensus yet on the critical issue of decolonization, in particular our final court, which is now the Privy Council, the King's Court, that makes orders in the name of the King, as opposed to the regional court, which has been established, the Caribbean Court of Justice, which Jamaica helped to design, helped to fund, and which has developed over the last 20 years a reputation for independence and excellence. There are aspects of the bills that are in Parliament now that we have big problems with. In particular, the fact that effectively it will allow the Prime Minister to appoint the President, because a simple majority of both houses will do it if we do not agree who that person is. I think that is wrong. I think that the President of the country must command the trust and confidence of both sides of the political aisle, and indeed the wider public.
Dr. Holness?
To be clear, the bills before Parliament do not give the Prime Minister the ability to appoint the President. We are the party that have advanced the greatest, the process of repatriating our sovereignty. I am a Jamaican through and through, and I want to see my country's sovereignty represented by a Jamaican. It puzzles me as to why the opposition is trying to frustrate this. The opposition says we must always consult the people, yet they do not want to consult the people on a fundamental architecture of our society, our final court of appeal. They are inconsistent, they are hypocritical, flip-floppers. They were the ones who nudged, encouraged, and agreed with the government that a process should be started for the repatriation of our sovereignty. Midway the process, they have turned around to say they have challenges with it. What is it that they really want? Are you truly a Jamaican?
Ooh. It's time for our next question. It is from Dion Jackson.
El Lagin, the talking point, Raja.
Are you a Jamaican?
Mr. Golding, the PNP is promising a tax break for small businesses for the first 3 years of formally incorporating, as well as a raft of other targeted tax relief measures. How do you respond to criticisms that your tax plan reintroduces inefficiencies, tax avoidance, and corruption into the tax system that have been eliminated over the past 15 years?
First of all, I think the Prime Minister repeated innuendo or direct attack which has been leveled by his party on my nationality. And, you know, I just wanted to just make it absolutely clear that I am indeed born here as a Jamaican. Here is my birth certificate, and it shows I was born at the University Hospital on July 19th, 1965, and it's right here. I hope your camera can pick it up. And I have a copy for you, Prime Minister, right here. And I wish you could provide me with a copy of your certification, but of course you can't do so. Now, on the question of tax, there's a third schedule to the GCT Act now, which has a long list of items which are not subject to GCT that are exempt. We feel that laptops and other devices are critical tools of trade, and it is wrong to tax them, and we are going to add them to that list. And similarly, sports equipment, which is vital for social cohesion. Sports is a critical part of keeping young people away from straying down the wrong path and so on. Why are we taxing those items? That cost of living is already high. So I don't agree. The system we have already caters for items which should not be taxed, and we're simply saying we want to adjust those items to include things that should be there but are not yet there.
Dr. Holness?
The Jamaica Labour Party is the only political organization to have reduced taxes. We reduced the GCT from 16.5% to 15%. And we have done so in a way that has not compromised our revenues or the sustainability of future programs. All, and I repeat, all the tax suggestions and promises of the opposition will compromise our fiscal arrangements and place us back in debt or result in increased taxes. The best way to provide social services is to identify the persons who need it.
Thank you, Dr. Holness. Our next question is from Giovanni Dennis, and it goes to Dr. Holness.
The Rio Cobre is a major water source for the St. Catherine Plains and communities in and around Spanish Town. Yet, since 2019, under your watch as Environment Minister, there have been close to a dozen chemical spills causing fish kills and disrupting lives. You say you're a champion of the environment. Why hasn't there been tougher sanctions for the repeated breaches of environmental permits by the companies culpable?
The Jamaica Labour Party has put in very tough sanctions, including the requirement for the provision of bonds. We are the only government to have called these bonds and brought polluters to court. We have also started the process of studying the Rio Cobre to ensure that there is no discharge into the Rio Cobre. And this is something that I am personally very serious about, and we will put in legislation to end discharge into the Rio Cobre. It becomes even more important as we have now put in place the Content Rio Cobre water project, for which we are pulling 15 million gallons of water from the Rio Cobre per day. So we must protect that asset, and I give the public my sincere commitment that we will protect the Rio Cobre.
Mr. Golding?
Quickly, just to say that the JLP is not the only party to have reduced taxes. The PNP reduced the personal income tax rate from 33.3% to 25%. We reduced the GCT rate from 17.5% to 16%. There has been reductions of taxes on both sides. They plan to reduce, they say, income tax from 25 to 15, which is going to help the rich and the ministers who pay themselves 200+% pay increases. On the environmental issue, you are the one who overturned NEPA's decision not to grant a permit for the mining of the Dry Harbor Mountains, which is a very sensitive nature reserve. You're flip-flopping again, Andrew.
Our next question is from social media. Over to Amoy Harriot.
Well, Archie, Delano says many Jamaicans would like to see the full rollout of body-worn cameras on our police officers, even more so now, given the increase of fatal police shootings. Will this be something that you'll prioritize should you be elected?
Mr. Golding will respond first.
First of all, I think it's very important to acknowledge and commend the excellent work done by the police force over the last year and a half in bringing the rate of violent crime, in particular murders in the country, down from the intolerable levels where it had been under this government. More murders committed in Andrew Holness's 2 years in office than any other 2-year term in the history of Jamaica. The police have finally abandoned the failed policies that we did our best to stop, the mass use of states of emergency, which the court has ruled as unconstitutional, and have gone now to a much more targeted approach, a much more strategically sound approach. Having said that, we do feel that it's very important that the public as a whole must have trust and confidence in the police, because the police rely on intelligence and information from the public. And therefore, if the public feel that there's excessive use of force and there's no accountability for it, they're not going to be as cooperative as we need them to be. I think, therefore, it's in the interests of the Jamaican society and the police themselves to have the benefit of body-worn cameras, especially when they go on special operations, so there can be no question, nobody can accuse them wrongly of having used excessive force when the force was legitimate as used. And to the extent that there may occasionally be an excessive use of force, the persons are held accountable for that in accordance with the law. That's what the rule of law requires.
Dr. Holness?
The government is already in the process of procuring and acquiring body-worn cameras. Several thousands of them are under procurement and will be deployed shortly to the police force. We consider this as absolutely important in giving confidence to the public regarding the actions of the police force. And the police themselves want to have these cameras as protection for themselves. Interestingly, however, the leader of the opposition states that the states of public emergency did not work. Now, murders under the PNP increased to over 1,000 murders in 1997 and remained there for over 30 years. It is the Jamaica Labour Party in 3 consecutive years that have reduced murders by 55%. The states of public emergency worked. The states of public emergency were supported by the PNP when Peter Phillips was the leader of the opposition, and it reduced murders by 27%. Since we did not have the cooperation of the opposition, murders went up. A question must be asked. Who is responsible for the increase in murders when there was a tool that could have saved lives? It is a serious question.
No, Giovanni Dennis has indicated that he would like to ask one of his 2 follow-up questions. I believe that question will go to
Mr. Golding.
Mr. Golding.
Mr. Golding, I want to go back to the matter of your dual citizenship. It took days for you to confirm that you held dual citizenship and weeks for you to renounce it. Why didn't you acknowledge the issue up front, and why should Jamaicans believe you will be forthcoming with them on any issue, even if it's uncomfortable in the first instance?
I didn't hesitate to acknowledge dual citizenship. I was born in Jamaica. I had a British father, and I inherited British citizenship by descent from him. And that's lawful under the laws of Jamaica, and indeed parliamentarians in Jamaica are permitted to be dual nationals. I therefore didn't consider it to be something which was problematic. However, when it was raised last year and politicized, I decided I want to know what the Jamaican people felt about it, because I thought really my response ought to be driven by them. We did an internal poll. It showed that a majority thought I should renounce, and so I did. And I renounced my British citizenship in August last year.
Dr. Holness, rebuttal.
You know, this is a strange one. A man who wants to represent his country must choose his country. He doesn't need to ask anyone. You should choose. And that's why we say we choose Jamaica. It is indeed of concern that it was not until your 40s, when you were becoming a minister of government, that you sought to have a Jamaican passport. It is not your birth that makes you Jamaican. It is the choices you make for your country, including supporting a process that would make a Jamaican head of state here, including getting a Jamaican passport.
Our next question is from social media. Over to Amoy, and that question will go to Mr. Golding.
On TikTok, Taj says, given the current negotiations surrounding the U.S. Keep Call Centers in America Act and its potential to impact over 50,000 Jamaican BPO workers, how does your administration plan to safeguard both employment and livelihoods for young Jamaicans if outsourcing opportunities decline?
That's a good question, and the truth is that the evolution of technology, especially the advent of artificial intelligence, is also a threat to the type of services that are provided through outsourcing. So we are going to have to ensure that we try and upskill our existing workforce so that they can be trained to do the type of tasks that technology isn't going to be as adept at dealing with as human beings. And we also have to provide other avenues for employment for young people. That's why we're going to establish the Youth Innovation Fund, which will provide grants and loans to young people to get them into business if they want to get into business. And it will enable them to pursue their talents in tech or in creative industries or any other area of endeavor so that they can express themselves, help to monetize their talent and build brand Jamaica. And so those are the types of things that need to be done. We also want to emphasize training and the role of the private sector in training. We'll be giving an incentive, a dollar-for-dollar matching of all businesses who invest in upskilling and training. We will match their investment through the HEART program to encourage them to invest further in training and upskilling the workforce so they can employ more people in higher paying jobs. Right now, too many of our people are struggling in low income jobs, low wage jobs, low tech jobs.
The same question goes to Dr. Holness.
Well, let me give you some practical and real answers instead of airy-fairy stuff. Jamaica is already positioning itself for nearshoring and friendly shoring of the recalibration of the global supply chain. And that is why we have made a massive investment in the Caymana's development and in Raintree. These are real investments that will bring production to Jamaica and jobs to Jamaica. We have already started to ensure that over 120,000 Jamaican youths can access training free of cost under HEART. And much of that training is in support of not just BPO, but logistics. But more than that, we saw the change in technology coming and the impact it will have. And that is why we have invested in a coding and technology academy, the Amber Heart Academy, where hundreds of Jamaican youth are trained in not just the basics, but as high up as data science. Because what we want to create in our society are the trained skills that can attract the jobs that we are already negotiating for. You have a government that understands the changing global dynamics.
Thank you, Dr.
and putting in
Holness.
place measures to take advantage of it.
We'll now take a short break and we invite you to stay tuned.
The general elections debates are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch,
Roger.
Listen, decide,
Yo,
vote.
you look like Andrew, come back.
Yeah, man, the dual citizenship thing there, you know, it resonates with people, you know.
You know what I realized, Gabby?
Yeah.
Just my feed for the debate, if you understand. So you're here and it's a come up here, but I can hear you. Yeah, man. I'm gonna like how my man put up in passport, he put up in birth certificate and drag you away quick.
Tomorrow's success will
depend
on the decisions we make today. At the Scotia
He
Jamaica
walk with him birth certificate since
Foundation,
night.
well-being of our nation is more than a choice.
Whenever I watch it, big man, take care of them.
Communities we serve. By empowering individuals and organizations, we are revitalizing communities and creating a more sustainable world for every future.
Than I thought. My only problem with him is I don't like the East Coast.
Flo, we understand you're ready.
You know, bother with it.
That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you.
And you call me over to St. Thomas.
With a team of familiar faces working every day.
Right.
You can't.
You're at the heart of everything we do.
Yes, you may.
Our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing. No matter what.
Wait, Yvette, man. Yvette, now come on for anything, man.
We love our country. Like you, we take pride in building Jamaica. The resilience of our people is cemented in our products, built to last for generations. Laying the foundation for thriving communities, we're committed to excellence and quality. Quality products, quality relationships. We're all proud Jamaicans, working hard, doing good, building a sustainable future for all. That same unbeatable spirit runs through us. We are Arc Manufacturing, made of Jamaica.
If you want $10,000 to spend this summer, what would you spend it on? Something nice? Something unforgettable?
So theme park or...
Hey, Gabby, you think this is the closest election in a long time?
If I win, you're not going to see me.
Yeah, man. In my opinion, I believe this is going to be the closest election in a very, very long time.
Everything, masters, here
This will come like a 2000 election between Gore and Bush.
While you're at it, promotion ends September 14th. Conditions apply.
Team, we need to pass the ball quicker, much quicker. And you need to make sure. I'm the coach. And I'm the assistant coach. No. Your job is to bring the water and keep us hydrated. Matter of fact.
What a lame at this man. Your job is to bring the water.
I got it, coach.
Every generation brings new hopes and ambitions. For 55 years, Sagicor has been helping Jamaicans to realize their dreams. As we celebrate our past, we look forward to continuing that legacy of trust, providing support and financial solutions for the next generation to succeed. Sagicor, building trust, one generation at a time.
Well, just give me me candle. Any time of the day, night as well. Just give me me candle. Everybody can tell this good great smell. Just give me candle. Number one in flavor, no parallel. About quality, yeah, you will be excel. When it's all E-N-D-E-L. Give me candle.
Another quality product from the Carimed Group.
Just give me candle.
The general elections debates are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission in association with Scotiabank for every future. Kendall, the taste of quality. Sagicor Group, building trust one generation at a time. Flow, NCB, Arc Manufacturing, Water, JN Group, Lasco Chin Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie, H&L Homes, and VM Group. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
Welcome back to the Leaders Debate presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. We invite you, the public, again, to send us your questions via direct message on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to Jamaica Debates. We now ask Dion Jackson Miller to start this segment with a question for Dr. Andrew Holness.
2021, you were appointed to the Queen's Privy Council and the Ancient Advisory Body, and your administration's recent attempt at constitutional reform would have seen the removal of the British monarch from Jamaica's parliament and executive in phase 1, but not from our judiciary. Opposition or no opposition, referendum or not, can you tell us your position, whether you support the removal of the Privy Council as Jamaica's final court, and if so, when?
My position is that Jamaica should have its own local court as its final appellate court. But I also do respect the Caribbean Court of Justice, of which we are a part of its original jurisdiction. I will say, however, that on a matter as important as this, that forms the architecture of our nation, the people must be consulted. And that is why I put in place a process that would begin these consultations in a practical and phased basis, a process which has been thwarted by the opposition. Now, the leader of the opposition raises questions.
Jerry trade Micah passes to Green Bay.
On one hand, he does not want to consult.
You know why?
He wants the government to just act without consulting with the people, but then turns around and says that we are the ones undermining democracy. The leader of the opposition must be consistent. Democracy requires us to consult the people on these critical matters.
Mr. Golding?
Yes, Mr. Holness, shortly before the visit of Prince William to Jamaica, became a member of the King's Privy Council. So one has to wonder how he was choosing Jamaica when he did that. Anyway, to answer the question, we want to follow the Constitution, and the Constitution has been ruled by the Privy Council as the highest court as not requiring a referendum for the decision as to whether or not the CCJ should become the final court replacing the Privy Council. And that is what we think ought to be done. No other country that has moved away from the Privy Council has had a referendum to do so, and there are good reasons for that.
Our next question is from Giovanni Dennis, and it goes to Mr. Golding.
Mr. Golding, the PNP under your leadership has flip-flopped on a number of issues. For example, Julian Robinson on May 16, 2023 said the opposition takes no issue with a massive salary increase for parliamentarians. The very next day, the PNP released a statement objecting to the increase. Why should Jamaicans trust that you won't similarly make about turns on promises you are making now?
When Julian said that in Parliament, he was referring to the principle of parliamentarians getting an increase. He wasn't addressing the specifics of what was being proposed. We hadn't had a discussion around those specifics. When we looked at the details and we saw the massive increase that the Prime Minister was proposing for himself and for his ministers, we felt it was unconscionable to do that in the context where the public sector workers had just had their salary negotiations under some duress in relation to the teachers in particular, finalized, and many of them were getting 20% over 2 years. That is why we had to clarify our position, because it was not in accordance with what we thought that principle demanded. Now, over time, thinking can evolve. People change their positions on issues. So, for example, we are looking at this whole question of the 3.5 salary, the $3.5 million threshold increase. And we've seen where, as the debt target is achieved and resources can be released, it can be afforded. We weren't calling for 3.5 2 years ago, but we see that the new inflation, etc., have happened. Cost of living pressures are there. Our evolution, our thinking has evolved, and we think that this is the right thing to do now, and we're committing ourselves to it. So, you know, I don't think the criticism is justified.
Thank you, Mr. Golding. Dr. Holness now has...
I have to call out that the leader of the opposition is telling lies. Julian Robinson stood in Parliament and said he supported the increase. Clear, and the tapes are there. Secondly, he calls the increase unconscionable, yet he takes it. I, Andrew Michael Holness, did not take it. The option was available to him as well. I chose not to take it. The leader of the opposition says, I have 28 bank accounts. That is absolutely not true. The report of the Integrity Commission includes accounts that are closed, accounts that are dormant, insurance accounts, and investment accounts.
Thank you.
They have weaponized.
Thank you, Dr. Holness. Our next question is from Dion Jackson-Miller, and it goes to Dr. Holness.
Dr. Holness, in your 2016 manifesto, you said, quote, will make it mandatory that the appointment to sensitive posts be approved by a 2/3 majority in each House of Parliament, thereby requiring consensus between government and opposition. Now, the posts identified included the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions. Not only did you not implement this, but you disregarded the opposition's objections in the case of the recent extension, which led to a court case. Wasn't this a betrayal of the principle of bipartisanship that you had been proposing 9 years before?
Absolutely not. And indeed, in some instances, there are parliamentary review of sensitive positions. And I want to be also very clear that the constitutional reform process that we have put in place would take into consideration all of these proposals that were made. We cannot tinker with the Constitution, doing a little thing here and a little thing there, and therefore we decided to put it in a comprehensive process, again, which the opposition has thwarted. But since I have some time, let me also address some other issues about the leader of the opposition. In my own Integrity Commission report published in Parliament, there are no findings of corruption. All my assets are in Jamaica, and I have declared everything to the Integrity Commission. The leader of the opposition, however, also had a report from the Contractor General previously, which found that they benefited from public resources in an irregular way. They termed it a sweetheart deal. In my report, there is no such thing. None of my resources are ever connected to any public funds or any public resources. However, for the leader of the opposition, the report was very clear that their operations were considered to be irregular and a sweetheart.
Thank you, Dr. Holness. Mr. Golding has an opportunity to respond.
The Prime Minister has no interest in bipartisanship. He has strong dictatorial tendencies and really would prefer not to consult with the opposition at all if he didn't have to. And I say that based on my experience with him over the last 5 years. He talks about he didn't want to tinker with the Constitution. Then why did he seek to amend the Constitution as a one-off, tabling the bill and seeking to pass it on the same day to extend the DPP's tenure beyond what was constitutionally allowed? That was tinkering, Prime Minister, so come on. And in terms of Integrity Commission reports, my declarations have been certified every year as being proper. Yours have not, because you are under investigation for illicit enrichment.
Mr. Golding. Our follow-up question now, Dion Jackson Miller has indicated she'd like to use the first of her follow-up questions.
On the same issue of the DPP's appointment, Principal Dr. Holness doesn't require constitutional amendments, though. And if it is that you were committed to the principle of bipartisanship, why would you have rejected such strongly worded opposition coming from the opposition leader?
End of the day, this matter was taken to the court, and the courts decided, and the DPP was reinstated. I want to also clarify something that the leader of the opposition said. The investigations carried out by the Integrity Commission are at an end. I am not currently under any investigation. There were no findings of corruption or charges. The leader of the opposition continues to try to weaponize these things because that is the only crutch he has to stand on. I, Andrew Holness, am thoroughly transparent.
Thank you, Dr. Holness. Thank you, Dr. Holness. Mr. Golding has the opportunity to respond.
Again, Andrew Holness is being disingenuous and tricky. The Integrity Commission referred his matters to the Financial Investigations Division, a law enforcement agency charged with investigating serious financial crimes for further investigation. What was his response? When there was a vacancy at the head of it, he sought to appoint or influence the appointment of somebody who is his close personal friend and who had said publicly on nationwide radio that he didn't see anything wrong in the report on Mr. Holness's financial situation, the Integrity Commission's report. It was clearly a set-up job, and we feel that very strongly that this needs to be addressed.
Thank you, Mr. Golding. Our next question is from social media. I'm going to hand over to Amoy.
Malik on Facebook says, many Jamaicans feel the economic growth that's been reported hasn't lowered their grocery bills or electricity costs. How do you measure economic success beyond the statistics?
Dr. Holness has the opportunity to respond first.
The first measure is income. And 280,000 jobs have been created in Jamaica, which means that more Jamaicans have income. There is a rise in income. Let's look at the minimum wage. The Jamaica Labour Party government has tripled the minimum wage. So there are more Jamaicans earning more at the lower levels of our country. Further, access to basic amenities. 350,000 Jamaicans have access to potable water, and in our next term, we will ensure that the 900,000 Jamaicans which now don't have reliable or full access to water will have access to water. Transportation, public transportation. We have done an amazing job in reducing bus fares and increasing the convenience and efficiency of public transportation, including implementing a rural bus fare system. On electricity, we have reduced the GCT on electricity, a promise made by the previous government and not kept. We have done it in a sustainable way. But more importantly, we have not placed any new taxes on the people of Jamaica since our government has been managing the fiscal affairs of this country.
Mr. Golding has an opportunity to respond.
First of all, I think the question is sound because statistics don't tell the full picture. Jamaica's competitiveness has been falling, yet they say that we have record low unemployment. Several 100,000 Jamaicans are outside the labor force and are not measured for that purpose. And indeed, you're regarded as being employed if you're employed 1 hour a week. 55% of Jamaicans are suffering from food insecurity. That is what the United Nations says, the FAO, which is an agency of the UN, says. 55% of Jamaicans are not getting adequate nutrition. That is not consistent with prosperity or low poverty rates or low unemployment rates. As for transportation costs, those are extremely high for many Jamaicans, which is why we want to introduce the RIDE program, a subsidy for rural children to help them to get to school in an affordable way. It's $10,000 per child who needs it in each family. So if you have more than one child, each one of them would qualify for this, because we recognize that that is one of the causes of absenteeism in schools at the moment. As for electricity, the rate and cost of electricity under this government has gone way higher than where we left it at 23 cents per kilowatt hour. Now it's over 40. And as for the GCT, they are providing a subsidy at the moment, but they haven't said for how long, and there's no commitment to keep it on.
Thank you, Mr. Golding. We are now going to be taking a short break, and we invite you to stay tuned.
The general elections debates are presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch.
Gabby, you can hear me?
Roger. Huh?
So, when you talk about price of electricity per kilowatt hour over 10 years, aren't you expecting it to be index linked and it to go up over time? Why would you expect it to be the same?
Exactly. But see, that can get over the heads of 90% of Jamaicans. Well thinking. Yeah, well thinking Jamaicans can do that are foolishness. You know something, Roger? I don't have any skin in the game, but if I never know anything about Jamaica and listen to this debate, I would vote for Andrew Holness right now. I think he's more authentic, in my opinion. He's more authentic, he's more assertive. And you remember when Trump called Jeb Bush low energy Jeb? That my man low energy. a low energy market.
I try not to lean anywhere, but as far as I'm concerned, you have to say to yourself, what is happening now that you dislike so much that you need a change? You get me?
Exactly.
What would a change of trajectory do? So that may do it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, with me who goes to Jamaica on a yearly basis, sometimes more than one time for the year, I have seen so much improvement in Jamaica since I left there. And even since the past 10 years, I've seen great improvement. You understand me? I look at my sister who is on pension, and she says she has gotten 3 increase on her pension under Andrew Holness. You understand?
Yeah, man.
Right? So people who I speak to, because I like to speak to people in Jamaica, because they are the ones who can give you a feel of what's going on. Right?
Gabby, let me try something. You know your spare phone?
Huh?
Call me on your phone and put on the speaker. And let me mute you on this. Call me on your phone and put it on speaker. Let's try that, see if it works better.
You're not going to see me in the same outfit twice.
Hold on there. Give me your name. Roger.
Yeah. Call me on your other phone.
Hold on, man. Give me
your voice on this and see what happens.
Give me your phone number again. 1469
469 951 5070. And then turn off the mic for your there you go. All right, Gabby, turn off the other one now. Mute the one there.
For 55 years,
all right. You can hear me now?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. That sounds good. That sounds good. At least we can hear what you're saying. So what I was saying, Gabby, the problem I'm having is that the feed is so loud that your voice is coming low.
Okay.
Yeah, but we can hear you now.
Yeah, man.
So,
no,
I don't like the way they're not giving both of the guys their rebuttal. So if I say something about you, give me an opportunity to answer. Do you get me?
Exactly. I think the people who conducted the interview there night, I think they did a better job.
See.
Because the rebuttal is needed. You accused me of me a thief. And then now me for rebut now and you're gonna break.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah.
Yes.
But this is better, Gabby. We like this.
Yeah, man.
Dennis has indicated that he'd like to ask one of his follow-up questions, and that goes to Dr. Andrew. Dr. Holness, on the matter of your government's hostility towards accountability institutions.
See if you can mute your side there, Gabby. The feed.
In Jamaica by both political parties undermine press freedom and has been reflected in Jamaica's slippage on the World Press Freedom Index. We have just seen the release of the names of journalists that both political parties objected to participating in the national debates. Why do both parties continue to undermine press freedom and put journalists in danger?
All right, we do it. It's good.
To be clear, my political party does not undermine press freedom. To be clear, my political party did not object. The objections came from the PNP. And historically, it is the PNP that has been vociferous, including attacking a particular radio station. I personally have stayed away from any negative commentary about any journalists. Journalists are important, and I support strong journalism. And I want to make that absolutely clear. In the time I have, I will rebut. I am in no way associated with the head of the FID. My understanding is that the head of the FID is a friend of the leader of the opposition.
Thank you, Dr. Holness. Mr. Golding has the opportunity to respond.
Press freedom is a fundamental pillar on which democracy is based, and I and my party fully support press freedom. The Prime Minister said something which was untrue when he said that only our side objected to some journalists. Their side also objected. In fact, we objected to 3, they objected to 4 journalists. And the matter was eventually resolved.
You have to call him the journalist.
The truth is that some journalists in the country are not as independent as others, are not as professional as others. And it is quite legitimate to criticize persons who you don't feel are living up to the standards of their profession. But we would never do anything to threaten or undermine press freedom, or indeed to make any journalist feel unsafe. And if it ever happens, we'll take out whatever it needs to stop it happening.
Thank you, Mr. Golding. Our next question is from Dion Jax Miller, and it goes to Mr. Golding.
Mr. Golding, Coswell Barnett is a blind Jamaican who is also a very experienced and very qualified teacher, but who was out of a job for 4 years. Now, your manifesto promises to protect the right of persons with disabilities. Those Jamaicans are disproportionately affected by poverty. Vision 2030 says that governments haven't been living up to a reserve a percentage of public sector jobs for persons with disabilities. That would have helped people like Mr. Barnett and others like him. Would a PNP government implement such a recommendation?
Thank you for that question, Dion. I come from a family that has delivered transformational national service to the country, in particular in the area of persons with disabilities. My father was the first orthopedic surgeon in Jamaica, and he established what was then the Polio Center, became the Mona Rehabilitation Center. And when he died in 1996, it was named after him. It's now called the Sir John Golding Rehab Center. He also established the Hope Valley Experimental School, a school for integrated education for able-bodied and children with disabilities. 2 parliamentarians went to that school, and he established the National Road Safety Council, because of his awareness of the fact that many people who end up with disabilities is as a result of road traffic accidents. I am and we are very committed to implementing the UN Convention for the Persons with Disabilities, which Jamaica was the first country in the hemisphere to sign. And we are the ones who passed the Disabilities Act, brought it to Parliament. This government took 7 years to bring it into effect. We're glad it's in effect, but it needs to be actualized now in practice so that persons with disabilities feel and see the benefits of it. We are fully committed to that, and we are going to establish a National Disabilities Fund to aid persons with disabilities so that they can have their assistive aids, they can get help to establish themselves in business at home, and improve sidewalks for their transportation. We are committed to the community of persons with disabilities.
Dr. Holness has the opportunity to respond.
To be clear, one of the things that I'm very proud of is that my administration has reserved under special orders through the NHT houses for persons with disability. They have a direct access. Under the new social housing program, we make it a point of duty to support persons with disabilities, and many persons with disabilities have benefited. Our administration have brought into effect the Disabilities Act. We continue to support the disabled community with grants and an increase in path benefits. Our government is committed to supporting persons with disability in Jamaica.
Dion Jax Miller has indicated that she would like to take her second follow-up question.
Yes, Mr. Golding, we hear the broad statements of policy and principle, but what persons with disabilities want are jobs, which is why I'm asking specifically if your administration would implement a recommendation to reserve a certain percentage of public sector jobs for persons with disabilities.
Yes, we have committed to that across MDNAs, ministries, departments, and agencies, that we would like to see quotas or an allocation for the disability community to have the benefit of employment opportunities in the public sector. But we also recognize the need to ensure that those who have the capacity to deliver services or to make things at home are empowered to do so. And that's why we have the National Disabilities Fund, which we will establish to help them to get a start in life in the area of business and fulfill their talents and monetize their talents so they can uplift themselves and their families from their homes. So yes, we're fully on board with the idea that you mentioned, Ian.
Dr. Holness, to rebut?
Most definitely. We will do that, and we will do more. In fact, at the Office of the Prime Minister, we do make it a point of duty to ensure that persons with disabilities are employed at the Office of the Prime Minister, and we will give that directive, if it is not already in effect, to all the ministries. But more than that, people with disabilities want to be independent, and they want to work independently, many of them. And we, through various initiatives, including through the various development funds that we have, will provide resources to persons with disability so that they can start their own businesses. And I think that is really the critical thing, to ensure that our persons with disability are independently earning income.
Our next question still goes to Dr. Holness, and it comes from Giovanni Dennis.
Dr. Holness, communities like Charlemont, Birdsucker, Acadia, and many others across the corporate area have complained and have taken the government to court for inadequately regulated developments. Justice Hart Hines, in a 2021 ruling, said the KSAMC and NEPA have been dilatory in their mandate to enforce local planning laws and regulations. In December 2021, he said work was being done to restructure the entire approval process, yet the issues persist. Why isn't more being done to force the KSAMC and the NEPA to do their jobs to enforce the building regulations?
When that comment was made, the situation was as you have said. Since then, there have been significant improvement in enforcement and including a new planning order for Kingston and St. Andrew, which clarifies many of the issues that were in contention, including we have included more inspection officers at the KSAMC, and there are more cases now being brought to court which are being prosecuted. So there has been an improvement. However, I believe that there is still much more work to be done in terms of increasing the enforcement capabilities. And yes, there are some legislative changes that need to be clarified, particularly as to how titles are issued and how densities are approved.
Mr. Golding has the opportunity to respond.
Since the People's National Party assumed the leadership in the council of the KSAMC, the new Mayor Andrew Swaby has been pursuing internal governance reform, including persons from outside to try and improve standards and processes, make them more transparent and effective so that the citizens of the corporate area can expect higher levels of governance. I think it's unfortunate that in the case of Mr. Holness and his wife, they are in the business of real estate development, or certainly she is, and that presents serious conflicts of interest which have manifested themselves in some of their own schemes that they have developed. I think we need to have rules which preclude that kind of activity so that there's no question of conflicts of interest.
We've come to the point in the debate when the debaters get an opportunity to ask each other questions. We begin, we invite Mr. Golding to ask a question of Dr. Andrew Holness.
Mr. Holness, the Integrity Commission in their court filing in the case that you brought to try and strike down the act and eliminate the offense for which you are being investigated, have said that you had money in the Ponzi scheme Olint and you got it out, while others suffered losses. You had money in Cash Plus, another Ponzi scheme where people lost lots of money, you got it out. And of course, you had money in SSL, and you were able to withdraw your money before it collapsed. In fact, I would say the only person that Usain Bolt has not been able to catch up with is you. And I want to ask you, how do you think and why do you think the people of Jamaica should trust you to be in charge of the governance of the country for a third term with that track record and with that cloud hanging over your head?
The leader of the opposition is a liar and cannot be trusted. I lost money in Cash Plus and Olint. However, the PNP accepted and received $1 million from Olint. He has no credibility to talk about Ponzi scheme. They benefited from the Ponzi scheme to fund their election campaign. He questions my wife's integrity about development. My wife and my family are hard-working Jamaicans. We started off with the taxes like many other Jamaicans, and I have worked hard. He has sought to weaponize that. But the people who receive me when I go into the country, they say, Andrew, don't worry. No weapon formed against you shall prosper.
Mr. Golding, if you talk about FinSac.
Yes.
I've made the point that for the Prime Minister and his wife to be in the real estate business when so many of the agencies of government which regulate that business fall under his Ministry of Economic Development and Job Creation creates the possibilities for conflicts of interest.
Creates
and I
the possibility.
stick by that position.
We now invite Dr. Andrew Holness to ask a question of Mr. Mark Golding.
The leader of the opposition speaks about integrity and trust. He was an advisor to a former Minister of Finance that put in place a policy of high interest rate, for which he acted as a broker for the government to invest loans and bonds for which he received a commission of high interest rate, to the point where one of his members described this as the greatest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich. He, the Toponaris lawyer, has made billions of this. Yet he does not disclose this in his integrity report. In fact, he doesn't even have a house in Jamaica. How can we believe you? And do you have assets in overseas companies for which you have not disclosed?
I've disclosed all my assets, and that's why my Integrity Commission declarations are certified. Your allegations are scurrilous and false. You made reference to DB&G, although you didn't call the name. DB&G was established in 1992 as an investment firm by 3 young Jamaican entrepreneurs. When the financial sector meltdown occurred some years later, and FinSAC was established as a response to try and protect the savers of this country so they didn't lose their money in their deposits in the banking system and their pensions and so on, DB&G, like other financial firms at the time, had to navigate that carefully to survive. We eventually were approached by a leading international bank, Scotiabank, who did a thorough due diligence on the company. It's a listed company where we were a listed company from inception. Our audited financial statements are public. Our quarterly financial statements are public. They looked at us inside out and upside down, found nothing, absolutely nothing untoward, and they bought the company. And we have nothing to hide on when it comes to DB&G. I would say, why is your government, having spent $200 million on this Commission of Inquiry into FinSAC, hiding the FinSAC report? Is it because you and your wife bought a house from somebody who had been FinSAC'd? You're a hypocrite, Andrew Holness, to be accusing me of anything in relation to FinSAC when you have been a direct beneficiary of the losses of somebody who was FinSAC, who lost their home because of FinSAC.
Again, you go to attacking my wife when you, according to the Contractor General's report, benefited from a sweetheart deal that was irregular. You benefited off the backs of the Jamaican people in creating your wealth. You were a connected party with the then Minister of Finance, and you advised and created the FinSAC debacle with high interest rate. You benefited from FinSAC. I did not purchase a FinSAC house. I bought a house on the open market. And again, you come with weaponized lies. Your lies will not work.
We now go to closing statements. Now, based on the earlier coin toss, Mr. Mark Golding of the PNP will go first.
The general election next week, Wednesday, presents a historic opportunity for the people of Jamaica. After 13 and a half years of belt tightening and austerity, we are finally in a situation where the debt to GDP ratio has achieved or is on the cusp of achieving the 60%, which was written into the fiscal rules by Portia Simpson Miller. That means that the fiscal rules and prudent economic management can change gear and look at how we can grow the economy and build a society with a better quality of life for all. We see some serious issues that need to be addressed. 700,000 Jamaicans or thereabouts live on public land, lands where they've built their homes, but they don't have titles. The colonial era law set the period as 60 years of occupation before they can get ownership. We are going to reduce that to 25 years. We're going to give them titles. And that is going to unlock over $1 trillion of wealth, which is now sealed up and quarantined in the old colonial era law that is still on the books. That is why also we're increasing the threshold to 3.5 million. So working families who are struggling to make ends meet can get a little break so they can live a better life. It's why we're going to be removing the tax from the overtime pay of workers.
Is he speaking off the cuff or is he reading?
So they can make it easier in life as well. And when I govern the country as Prime Minister to serve you, I will ensure that accountability and transparency are at the center of what we do. And
you know the Americans need teleprompter.
Public trust will be met with the full force of the law with no protection from me.
No, understanding, but
huge difference
in America
between the
they use
government
a teleprompter
and the government of Andrew Holness. That is why I'm asking you, on election day, next Wednesday, vote for the People's National Party, put your ex beside the head, time come for a better life.
We now invite Dr. Andrew Holness of the JLP to go ahead with your closing statement.
The administration that I lead on your behalf has cut the debt in half.
Boom.
We have created 280,000 new jobs, brought in 85,000 persons into the labor force. We have tripled the minimum wage. We have cut murders by 55% over the last 3 years. You have had no new taxes to worry about.
No taxes.
This administration has taken on the previously thought of impossible to solve problems, and we have solved them. We are an administration of performance. In our next term, our pensioners who have worked so hard will get a break. Those earning $6 million or below will pay no income tax. We will give a new income tax rate, which will be graduated, which will see everyone paying lower taxes. You will see 60,000 more houses being brought on the market, with 15% of them dedicated to young people. We will give incentives to developers to build houses for young people. You will see a new transportation system for rural school children coming into being. You will see more work being done on reducing electricity. Our government is a government of performance. This election is about a clear choice. Promise or performance. That's what it is. You have to make a decision. Who can deliver? It is this administration that has taken on the difficult problems, and we have delivered for you. I ask you on election day to vote for what is best for Jamaica. Vote for a government that performs. Vote for the Jamaica Labour Party.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Holness. Thank you, Mr. Golding. In the good spirit of the debates, we now invite Dr. Holness and Mr. Golding to shake hands.
Hey,
I know we can breathe.
I would get one buckle, I would get one hand sanitizer and wipe my hands same time.
Dr. Holness, representing the Jamaica Labour Party, and the party leader, Mr. Mark Golding, representing the People's National Party. Our sincere thanks to both party leaders and all the debaters.
All right, no stop me stream, and guess what? We'll call you for WhatsApp and we'll call Elder right now, okay?
Thanks for joining us. Thanks to our studio audience, our production crew, production and funding partners, and most of all,